quick introductions, isn't it? Right, so we're live. Welcome back to Jimmy Case TV. Season preview, Arsenal edition. We've got Kofi in the building, one of my good friends, who's, in my opinion, quite controversial with his takes. And we go back and forth non-stop. But we're going to get to it today. We're going to talk about Arsenal. We're going to talk about Chelsea and the season ahead for 25-26. Liverpool, Bournemouth have kick-started that now. 80 minutes in, 0-0. Just going to send these messages now, Kofi. Give me 2 seconds so I can get everybody in.
Sure, no problem.
And then we'll get going. I'll just check on TK, see where he's... see where he is. Yeah, where's this one gone? Hold on. All right, there we go. Just going to post that as well. So what are you saying anyway? You good? Oh, the kids are just on. 1 second. Let me just see what everyone's doing. 2 seconds. They've just dropped in.
No worries.
What's happening? You all right? Yeah. Yeah, the family just come home, man. Just quickly say hello to them. Right, let me just double check where TK is. How you been anyway? You didn't play on Thursday, no?
No, man. I pulled my hammy. Or say pulled it. I sprained my hammy at paddle. I'm a paddle. I'm a paddle guy now.
Paddle star now, yeah.
I promise you, if you play paddle, you'll soon leave football alone as well.
Mate, I've heard mad stories about how addictive it is. I've heard stories of people travelling up to like Manchester just to play random people.
It can actually destroy your life. You'll go through a phase where.
Do you stay there and work as well? Because I know Calvin and Enzo.
Yeah, man. I'm there all day, man. I'm there.
Mate, that's mad. Tommy said half an hour, so that is what it is. We'll just have to get going.
No problem.
So I want to kickstart it off and start, obviously, Arsenal Football Club. We're going to do a breakdown of how we think both our seasons went last season. Now, obviously, Arsenal finished second place for the third season in a row. 74 points, 69 goals scored, 34 conceded. The best defensive record in the Prem for 2 years straight. Is it 3 or 2?
2.
2. So
I believe
clearly, obviously, got the best defense in the Premier League over the last 2 seasons, and I don't think anyone can complain about that. I think you've shown that. And then you've got Chelsea, obviously, 4th place finish, 69 points, which we got on the last day of the season. Was touch and go whether we was going to hit top 4. We was competing up until December, then completely crashed, and then that was it. Title was Liverpool's. But we ended up finishing the season with a Conference League trophy, Club World Cup title, beating PSG, who everyone considered was the best club in the world at the time, and were current Champions League holders. Scored 64 goals, 43 goals conceded, so a big improvement on the goals conceded, but less goals scored. So how do you feel last season went for you?
I would say I feel like personally I'm not surprised with how last season went, because with the injuries that we had, and a lot of people will say, oh, everybody had injuries, but we had a lot of injuries to our key players. Some of them overlapped, some of them didn't. I'd say I can't really be surprised that we finished second. The biggest positive for me was going deeper in the Champions League, so getting to the semi-final. But of course, injuries kind of dictated how that ended. And also, obviously, a bit frustrated that we didn't address the attacking issues in January. But yeah, overall, look, I'm not surprised with the injuries that we had. teams. I believe that teams would have done way worse, and I think Manchester City is a great example. They lost Rodri, and look what it did to them. So
Do you think like, let's say you had your full squad, and considering how Liverpool played that season, because I thought Liverpool were very consistent from game 1 to game 38. I thought they maintained a level that allowed them to win the league. I don't necessarily think they blew it out the park, but they had
yeah,
some good performances in there that made it that you'd think they were title winners. But I just thought they were very, very consistent. Do you think if you had your players there fully fit, you'd have won the title last season?
I'll say this, and to your point about Liverpool being very consistent but not being out of this world. If we had all of our players, I don't think we would have necessarily won the league. We would have taken it way closer than we did. But what I would say is I genuinely believe we would have won the Champions League.
You think you'd have won the Champions League?
Yeah, I genuinely believe we would have had won the Champions League. And the reason I say that is, as much as people laugh at Havertz, and it's funny, I feel like more non-Arsenal fans see the value in Havertz. Obviously, some see the value in him just because he's fucking a shit finisher, but more see like what he brings to the team than a lot of Arsenal fans do. And I get the frustration that he's not a striker. But what Havertz does to allow us to bypass presses in big games cannot be it can't be ignored. And you could see the drop off in our performance in the Champions League when we didn't have
got injured.
Yeah, when he got injured, and also in the league as well.
So do you think that him getting injured specifically was your turning point?
Well,
or
of
do you
course,
think you'd have messed it up before then?
I think obviously Saka getting injured was huge because he is a big part of everything that we do. And then Havertz getting injured when he did just messed that all up, because I remember we had that conversation at football, and I said to you that if you put Mourinho in Havertz's position because of our system, if you put a physical box aerial dominator in that position, they'll score goals and our system will tick. And it did work for a while, and then of course Saka got injured. So he
got bare goals, Mourinho, didn't he?
Exactly. And to be honest, it's nothing to do with Mourinho. It's just our system. And this is why I'm one of the people that wanted Sesko over Gyökeres, not because I think, not because I think
just suitability.
Player. It's just that I feel we are a far more dangerous team when we are able to keep that system and have a focal point that can win aerial balls and just cause chaos in the box. But
he scored a good header the other day, pre-season.
Of course, it's just going to require us to change our style. And I my only worry with that is that we'll concede more goals and we might be a bit more susceptible to losing the bigger games, because sometimes you need to just go long. I fell in love with the Sam Allardyce long ball football when Haaland came to the Emirates and dunked on us. I don't know if you remember.
You don't think Gyökeres has got that hold-up play, whereas you think Sesko would have?
Yeah, because again, Gyökeres he's a big guy, but he's not 6'5". He's 6'2", but like aerially, that just isn't his game. He's a guy that wants to get on the shoulder of the defender and wants to make shit happen. So but back to your original point, I genuinely believe that at the very least we would have won the Champions League. And even the PSG game, again, we had no Partey during this injury crisis. The first game we didn't have Partey, which meant Mourinho had to go back to central midfield, and Trossard.
Suspended, weren't he?
Yeah, exactly. Through no fault of our own.
That was shocking from him.
Exactly. So I can't say it's anyone else's fault but our own. But from a game perspective, I genuinely, when I look at those PSG games, they were just suffocating us because we couldn't go long. You can't go long when you got Trossard up top. And
that's never really been Arsenal's style of football. You've always walked it into the back of the net. You've always been known for scoring lovely goals.
I mean, under Arteta, other than his first season, I think he realized, and this probably would flow a bit into the the transfer segment, but he quickly realized that he is better off making Arsenal hard to beat than he would be trying to invest and find the best attacking talent to make us outscore everybody. Because everyone knows it costs a lot more money to sign attackers than it does to find good defenders. Defenders are always undervalued until
Hence the reason why you got the best defence in the league over the last 2 seasons. Oh, you see this assistant? He went to my school, you know.
Oh, in this game.
Yeah, you see this light skin guy?
Oh wow.
He went to our academy.
Barking Abbey.
It's mad. Yeah, he went Barking Abbey Academy.
That's crazy. Did he play football or was
he played? He was in the football academy. Yeah. Now he's a referee. That's nuts. He's worked his way all the way up today. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts. That's sick, man.
Wow.
Fair play to him. But yeah, what was he saying?
Yeah. So genuinely, as I was saying, for Arteta realized that, and again, Arsenal is Arsenal. Not much has really changed in terms of our approach to football. Football matters. The Arsenal executive board is very, very risk averse and logical. They brought in that Tim Lewis guy after Raul Sanelli. Under Emery, I don't know if you remember that whole era where we signed Pepe. I think it was Pepe, Cedric, and Willian. During that whole era, Raul Sanelli, who was the former director of football of Seville, I believe, came into Arsenal and completely messed up. Paid way more money than he was supposed to for Pepe. When a deal had apparently, or the valuation had apparently been agreed that Pepe was supposed to come for like 40 million. Raul Sanelli somehow managed to run it up to 70 million or whatever it was.
Where's he now then? He left?
Yeah, he's left. I'm not actually sure where he is now, but he's left. He might even be I don't think he's at Villa. But so after that, and then obviously we went through that decline. We finished 8th, I think it was, just before Arteta came in. Around that time, there was no other, and obviously Ivan Gazidis was our CEO, and not much really needs to be said about him and the whole Ramsey era, and just a load of bad shit happened. So after that, the Kroenke family said, okay, look, if we're going to put any more money into this club, we want to bring in somebody to be our eyes and ears on the ground. And then they hired this guy called Tim Lewis, who by trade is a lawyer. And everybody knows when you bring a lawyer into a football club in an exec position, they're going to be risk averse and they're going to think logically. But in football, logic doesn't really help you win titles. It stops you from getting relegated, and it makes your club run smoothly and make money. But if everybody else is spending irrationally, how are you really going to keep up with the trajectory of those teams? So I think Arteta quickly realized, if I'm really going to be able to get Arsenal out of this hole with the lack of quality that they have, let me build this team and make it super, super, super hard to beat, and just sign a team that is defensively sound and strong, has players that can play in multiple positions, and is very physical. And we've seen it work for Newcastle to a degree. It's kind of taken Newcastle into a kind of a different conversation because everybody hates playing Newcastle. And
because of the physicality,
because of the physicality. But now we're at the point, and I think it's been proven that being how we are can only take you so far if everybody else is investing in or already has a great attack. And to your earlier point, the reason Liverpool were able to win the league without blowing anyone away is because they'll always win the games in the fine margins because they have a great attack. And of course, if the team, the next best team doesn't or isn't able to keep up with you from an attacking perspective, it allows you to do what they did. And I guess the same can kind of be said for City, right? In that they went through their whole kind of fall off and they're going through this build. But if you look at Pep, he was always just a hard team to play against first and foremost. Nobody could kind of keep up with his teams because the structure wasn't.
I think he just had the perfect balance, defense and
Yeah,
attack. Obviously,
exactly.
when his defense started getting a bit old, like Walker and that's what we saw last season when his defense started going a little bit wobbly, lost his focal point in the middle.
Exactly. And
Kevin De Bruyne's legs started to go.
Precisely. And this is why
all the balance went completely.
Yeah. And this is why I say, as far as like, am I surprised that we didn't win the league? I'm not. But what I will say is, I feel like we're at this point now where if Arsenal change their approach, if Arsenal take the approach that they take with building a sound defense and adding defenders into the team with attackers, I believe we dominate for a very long time. But
really,
yeah, because again, if you look statistically at Arsenal, if you take away all of the social commentary and just look at it for what it is.
Well, stats show that you've got the most points.
Exactly.
Over the last however many years.
Yeah,
Bournemouth
exactly.
are in there. They're in. Oh, how have they not scored?
Well, the dummy.
How have they not scored?
I think the dummy threw him. Yeah. So and again, I'm a stats guy. Like statistically speaking, in sports, if the stats show something for long enough, like usually the pendulum swings. Obviously, football's a little bit different because of the anomalies of injuries and stuff like that. But I think this season might level things out because I think everybody is gonna get injuries.
So you think last season you had the squad to win the league, and it was just injuries that hindered that? You don't think?
Yeah, I think actually no. I think it goes way closer, and like you know how it is. I think it's like a 2-point swing, but that 2-point swing could go either way on the day if said players are not injured when they're injured. If that makes sense. So
because it never really felt like you had injuries all at the same time last season. It felt like they were very spaced out. Like Saka was injured at one point, Havertz at the same time when Havertz. But
you know what's funny? The two players that you mentioned are the two players that were out for the least amount of time. So Havertz was only our striker because Gabriel Jesus is injured the whole season pretty much.
Okay, is West Ham's team still clashing Chelsea?
Because the Chelsea boys are here now. Look, you guys have spent.
They're in.
You guys have spent. You guys have spent. You know what? One thing I'll say I respect Chelsea for, and I said this privately, and I'll say it publicly now.
Why Ekitike scored?
Wait, why was the
Liverpool? Yeah.
Why was Bournemouth moving like he was offside? Like they just stopped running.
They all ran out of the way.
Yeah, that was weird.
He's looking good though, this Ekitike. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, like everything about this kit's pissing me off, man.
Oh, the kit.
Just seeing Liverpool is just annoying me, man.
He looks lively. I'm not gonna lie. He looks good.
But you see my point.
We was about him as well. We didn't explore it.
I mean, I understand why you didn't, man. Rory Delapers is still at 30 million. It's a gamble that I think I'm surprised.
How lucky is that? You fucking lucky bastard.
I'm surprised Man United didn't push harder for that.
Well, Liam Delap, yeah, not Rory.
Okay.
Rory's
sorry,
retired.
Liam. Yeah, Liam Delap.
No, I'm not gonna go mad about Liam Delap, yeah, but he stylistically he reminds me of Harry Kane. I'm not saying he's the same as Harry Kane. I'm not saying he's the same ability. Stylistically, the way that he plays, he reminds me of.
Do you know what's funny? I feel like he is in some ways similar in prospect.
I'm not sure what this means.
Yeah. Evan Ferguson's potential was showing in that. Had he not got injured,
mate, he fell off bad.
Injuries, man. injuries. But he's mashing it up in fucking. He's looking promising in the couple of games that I've seen him play in the friendlies. I think he could do.
Played for West Ham. Went on loan to West Ham, didn't he? At the end of the season,
He still wasn't fully fit. But I think him going to Italy could be a good move, and he could.
Is that where he is?
Yeah, he's gone to Roma.
Oh, yeah, we'll mash it up there, man.
Yeah, and then come back. But oh yeah, sorry. What I was gonna say is I've said this privately, but I'll say it publicly now. You guys have healed very, very quickly, too quick for my liking. But I understand it, right? And again, comes back to my earlier point about statistics. You guys are playing the statistics game in that.
That's what they base a lot of their signings on, statistics.
Statistics, yeah. And I'm a statist. I love statistics in sport. And so if you sign players who have baseline statistics that marry well with whatever system the manager wants to play and the outcome and output that he wants, you're going to get like result. It will take you to a certain point, and then after that you have to actually just add world-class talent to take you over. And that brings me to the point about Arsenal. I don't think we would have won the league last season because I still feel like we were missing on the left, because if you're not going to sign a number 9, you need a world-class player on the left. You need a world-class player on the left who's going to cause chaos in the box and just throw.
No, you can't say that, man, because you weren't saying that last season. You weren't saying that you needed a left winger last season.
No. I'm saying this from the perspective of, because you was asking me if I thought we would
win the league if you had a full fit squad.
Yeah, and remember I said to you, I still, because I'm very, very, very pro Odegaard is a big issue within the system.
Yeah, you believe he's a hindrance, don't you?
Yeah, more so from a physical standpoint.
You're not the only one. A lot of Arsenal fans think the same.
Yeah. So when you look at Liverpool, you can point to Liverpool's system and comfortably say Liverpool have an attack in Salah being given that creative freedom to not have to defend.
He's not wrong, you're sounding like one of these the pundits.
Nah, you know, I read a lot. And
he's been training for weeks. He knew this was coming.
Nah.
He's been, ever since I started it, he's been going, all right, I better sharpen up.
Yeah, if you look at wait, what was I saying? I was
talking about the left wing situation and how you feel like you wouldn't have won the league without the left wing. We're talking about Odegaard disrupting the system.
Yeah, so Odegaard disrupting that system in like the lack of physicality and ability to carry the ball means that the reason our system is so like sound is we sacrifice Saka's attacking freedom by making sure that he's tracking back. Oh wow, Jesus Christ, who was that? Kirkes getting the gym, mate.
Yeah, Kirkes got left there, but I think that's an Arteta problem.
But this is the thing. What people look at like that thing as in like isolation and don't realize that there's a reason Arteta has made this system how it is, because he's compensating. He could very easily
who is this? Kirkes. He's having a stinker.
Yeah, his head. You know that weight. He got weights and he wanted to kind of run it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. People look at it too much in isolation. In that Arteta could give Saka the freedom and say, look, just worry about scoring the goals. But then, unfortunately, when you have a like Odegaard in the team, and your team isn't a transition team, so physically you're kind of a man down out of possession, and even on possession. With the ball, when Odegaard has the ball, he's easily brushed off. He has an angle bias that's so predictable, and he can't play from deep. I've always said it. Odegaard, if he's close to the box,
I feel like he just.
The game.
Do you know what I feel like he is? I just think he lacks intensity that you need for the Prem.
Exactly.
I just think he don't suit the Prem. I think he'd be perfect in Spain, Italy, wherever else you put him. I just think in the Prem,
Exactly.
that split second, he don't have it.
Exactly. And Finn made a point actually the other day. He said Odegaard has been playing men's football since he was 15. He's already not like a physical player when it comes to carrying the ball, strength. But you're talking about a player that's been playing since that age. His legs are probably fucked as well.
Yeah, maybe.
He's been playing men's football since 15.
You do it for that long, yeah.
So Arteta's having to obviously compensate for some of the holes that we have in our squad. And I think I would much rather, I'm of the thinking that, look, I'd rather be harder to beat until we add and complete the squad. But does that absolve Arteta and Arsenal board of criticism? No, because I've said it. Now, the only way we go over the threshold is if we add a...
You didn't make no signings in January, did you?
Yeah, exactly. No signings in January, which was a scam.
And what was you at the time? There was you was calling for a position at the time. Was it? It weren't strike. It wasn't. I don't even think it was striker. Was it?
But I didn't want a striker. I wanted a left winger. Remember, I said it's a left winger, left winger or a ball carrier in that number. Because if you have this is why losing Jesus really hurt us. Because genuinely, if we had Jesus, then I think we can win the league. Because you've got a chaos merchant who he has that like it factor to cause disruption and create out of nothing. Martinelli cannot create out of nothing. He relies on being fed the ball.
But do you think, like we said this before privately, do you think that's an Arteta problem? Because he was doing, like, this kid was at the world at his feet under Emery.
I have to call you out on that. So the season Martinelli scored 15 goals was under Arteta.
Was it Arteta, yeah?
Yeah, it was 2 seasons ago. It was under Arteta. But again, this was during a time when teams still didn't respect Arsenal. That's all it was.
So you think teams have then switched up how they play against Arsenal?
The Premier League has at
Just
least
made it a little bit harder for players like Martinelli.
And our biggest issue has always been, after that, the mid-block against... I can name... It's funny. If you look at all of the teams that Arsenal traditionally struggle against, it's mid-block teams. It's not low blocks. It's mid-block teams. It's you guys. Manchester United, Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth now. These are all of the games that we typically drop points in or really, really struggle against. Teams that play the mid-block, compact, are physical in and around the areas that Odegaard likes to try and pick up the ball. And it kills us. Because again, Saka can't do everything by himself because they suffocate him. So
I find it mad that over the last however many seasons it is, he hasn't brought a backup on that right wing. Until kind of now. Do you know what I mean?
And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of scared that we've been scammed again. In that Madueke is... And the funny thing is, right, I'll be honest with you. Madueke has to start the season as our left winger. In his current system,
yeah, of course he does.
I do not want to see Martinelli in that left wing position because he's not a 1v1 winger. And I think Arteta wants to play a game of numbers and statistics. If you look at Madueke's statistics, he's highest in all of the outputs that we lack. One-on-one, touches in the box, shots, and take-ons.
Yeah.
And
we'll get to Madueke in a bit when we do the signings and outgoings, because I think that's going to be a key one we talk about. Obviously, it involves both of our clubs.
Yeah. So I mean, to your earlier question, I still don't believe that, and this is why when you've
asked... That's a pen. Hold on, this is a pen.
Look, Kanate is going to, or whoever it is going to...
Oh, no, they're breaking. I need to see the replay here. That's good. This is a goal.
Look at the position that Salah. Look at the position that Salah's in. You see how high up he is.
Yeah.
Saka's behind the halfway line.
Yeah, he won't be that high out, will he?
Yeah, and what people
I
just
find that mad. Why ain't you really letting your best player play? Oh, I don't know why you ain't letting your best player play. How you
because again,
you should let him go.
You're thinking about it in isolation. We probably lose more matches if Saka, because you're coin flipping. Because remember, look at Saka's output with defensive responsibilities. The fact that we do not have a striker means, or we didn't have like an actual striker, means that he's crossing the ball to no one. And for that to also work, it means your striker has to be high on the shoulder as well, which again takes away from us. Like our rest defense is probably the best in the Premier League. We get back and round the ball faster than anyone. And this is why I keep saying it's all a game of margins and statistics. And it can only take you so far. Now, hopefully, Gyökeres is going to mean that we slightly tweak the system and become more of a transitional team, because there's somebody there that you can trust to score goals. But then it kind of also means you can't be as aerially direct when you come up against certain teams. But I think that's why I think Havertz might have his best ever season, or be appreciated way more now that Gyökeres is here, because he'll be able to be used in certain scenarios. So you see less of him missing chances and anxieties.
Your 24-25 season, how would you summarize it? If you had to summarize that season, what would you say?
Unlucky. I'd say we were very unlucky with the injuries. I'd actually say we overperformed, all things considered.
Overperformed.
Yeah, all things considered. Do you want me to tell you why I believe we overperformed as well? Because there's also within that has been some crazy decisions and things that went against us that we were still able to kind of bypass on top of the injuries as well. Like some of the crazy VAR decisions, sending offs that swing games, like the Declan Rice one.
I thought that was a red card because he knew what he was doing.
It's not a red card, man.
It's a yellow, isn't it? Kicking the
ball. It's not a yellow either. It's not, because again, if every player that did what Declan Rice did was sent off.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is that it wasn't consistent throughout the whole season. So you now have a right to moan. But at the time,
this
was a hot topic at the time. Do you know what I mean? And
this always seems to be the thing with Arsenal. I was again having this debate the other day about why is it that all of the controversial things that happen once and then never again always happen to Arsenal. Martinelli against Wolves, when he got sent off, yellow cards, but the game wasn't
even in a row, weren't it?
And we have never seen it before.
I've never seen that ever. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I agree with that one. I've never seen that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like these things, like if it comes down to a fucking 1 point season or 2 point, these are the things that like the margins that swing football. So I think I'll be honest, we did a lot better than I thought we would. We had Mourinho playing up front against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinal, and we brushed Real Madrid aside. I like, as much as people will say, Real Madrid it's still Real Madrid in the Champions League.
I mean, no one expected you to beat them at all.
Exactly. So again, all things considered, and then also we lost Gabriel as well at quite a key point in the season. But I feel like, again, defensively we're strong enough to not really feel it as much. But it's still a big miss to go into the PSG. Go into a PSG.
I said at the start of the season you wouldn't win the Premier League because I don't think you had the squad depth. Now, I had you winning the league before the end of the transfer window. Yep. And then when you finished the transfer window, I sat there with Enzo and I was like, I don't think you're going to win the league. I was like, I've changed my mind because you haven't got the squad depth. When you actually look at your squad, you're a few injuries away from like not being able to replace these players and do anything significant. And I think that's exactly what come to fruition. You lost players through injury. You didn't have the backup there to do it. I don't think your signings were good enough last season. I don't think, like, for example, I'd always mention Calafiori as one of them. That guy is injury prone. He's always been injury prone.
Okay.
And I was like, you're signing him off the back of a good Euros, but this guy is going to be injured all season.
Let me
he's been injured all season.
Let me counter that, yeah? How, first of all, I'm going to counter it like in a two-part comment. How would it be possible for Arsenal to really, outside of like the stuff that they've already done, how is it going to be possible for us to sign enough players to have world-class depth in one window? Second part,
do you need world-class depth? You just need players that can come in and do a job.
I think we're almost there pretty much. And then my second thing is, go and look at Liverpool, and if Salah gets injured or Van Dijk gets injured, who do they have right now that could step in and do a job for them? Look at Chelsea. But you guys are a little bit different because
we're still stacked. We're absolutely stacked.
But it's still very unclear.
But are they players that can come in and do a job?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's actually hard to answer that, guys. Okay, let's look at Manchester City.
We actually won't find out until this season.
Exactly. Let's look at Manchester City. I mean, it showed Rodri got injured and they absolutely suffered. And we would have previously said that City have a lot of depth. Unfortunately, we just have to, like, you're always going to have to gamble and always will be able to say after the fact, you could have signed more depth. I'll be real. If I look at the signings that we've made, but Casey, Chelsea don't really have a madness in depth. They have numbers in players, but we don't know who can actually step in and push you to win the league.
I don't know. When you look at it, you go. I tell you what, we'll get to that when we get to our signings. We'll get to that segment because we're straying off of how I want to run it. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So we'll get to that. Let's hold on to that, Casey. We'll get back to that. Yeah, we'll talk about depth when we go to signings because I'm going to counter that as well when you start talking about who comes in and replace. I do think there is a little bit of a weakness in Chelsea's team at the moment, but we'll get to that. But and again, from my point of view,
framing it though, bro.
If I was to summarize your season last year, I actually think you went backwards because you was doing so well the previous two seasons. And don't get me wrong, you had injuries throughout them 2 seasons as well. It's not like you didn't. Do you know what I mean? You had Ben White get injured, didn't you? He did his knee the year before, didn't he?
We lost Partey as well.
We lost Partey out all the time. And Partey was your best midfielder last season. There's no doubt about that. So you've had injuries. Gabriel Jesus was injured throughout that season.
But Saka never got injured.
But Saka, you know, that's what I'm saying. So what you're saying, your whole season relies on.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. No, I mean, just look at Arsenal.
It can't. He got injured at the last part of the season last year. This is what I'm saying. So, me personally, I think you done your damage in the first half of the season. Whether you want to say that was because of refereeing decisions, etc., maybe you've got a point for that. You know, if it was Chelsea, I'd be moaning about the referee decisions as well. But me looking at it from a Chelsea perspective, I look at it and go, I thought they were yellow cards. Do you know what I mean? Trossard kicking the ball away. Yes, it was milliseconds after, but at the time, it was shit hot on do not kick the ball away. Everyone's getting yellow cards, and it just so happens to be your team that gets the red cards. It causes the problem is they weren't consistent. If they'd have carried it on throughout the rest of the season, we wouldn't be having this argument. We wouldn't be having this debate. The problem is they gave it up.
Exactly. And when you give it up after the fact, it's a big just makes. Yeah, because you've unjustly punished other people and affected games. You have to like football. It has to be consistent. It has to be. But again, these are the margins that I guess like they can and can't. So I won't even lean on that too much. But what I will say is that last season, I don't personally think we went backwards. the reason people say we went backwards is because of the expectation that they put on us. But again, we didn't make any signings in January.
I think you should maintain that expectation. You had a serious points drop off from last season, though, didn't you? Well, how many points was it? 16, something like that. How many points did you get last year? 89.
So did everybody. Manchester
City, yeah.
Manchester City were what, 25 points worse off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and then again, we also have to remember the players are, and I think this is.
But don't you feel like that's a missed opportunity then? In a season where everybody is dipping, this is your opportunity now. Having finished second the last two previous seasons, you missed out by a point on the last game of the season.
I'll be honest.
Wouldn't you be expecting, right, next season we've got to go for this, we've got to win this? And it was up. You knew at December that you weren't going to win the league.
Remember, I told you, Arsenal board, they're logic based. They're not irrational, and irrationality is needed to win titles from the footballing board. Your board, when you were dominating everything, Roman Abramovich was irrational. He paid more, spent more money than everybody, and he won trophies. Manchester City, irrational. Arsenal, consistently logical. We didn't sign. That's the first season when we almost won the league. All we had to do was make signings in that January window. Everybody was saying, you need to bring in someone to add depth for Saliba because he's going to get injured. He's going to get injured. Did we do it? No, we fucking didn't. And then
Tony's just joined the chat. What are you saying, TK?
What's going on, man?
Is your mic on?
What's happening?
What's that on your eye?
Yeah, what the fuck? You've been boxing.
He had a little injury at football on yesterday.
One sec, I'm trying to connect.
This is why I play paddle, man.
No injuries on a Thursday.
I thought they was connected.
No injuries on a Thursday.
So we're just talking about Arsenal season. We've done 40 minutes already just speaking about Arsenal, how they played last season. And we were talking about Kofi thinks that the season was unlucky. It was hindered by injuries. You don't think the board done enough in January to push them to where they needed to be. And obviously there were certain injuries throughout the season that hampered their season, and at certain points in the season, at crucial points in the season. I agree to an extent, but I also feel like they fell off a bit.
Here's another perspective on it as well. The Saka injury might have been the most predictable injury in football.
100%. Everybody was screaming for right wing.
Waiting to happen.
Exactly.
Waiting to happen.
So that should kind of give you a glimpse into how silly and, again, logical the Arsenal board is in terms of saying we've spent a lot of money on Declan Rice. We can't necessarily get our first tier targets. We'll wait till the summer. And again, like I said, you need to be irrational. And
so do you think that's an Arteta problem? Do you think he prioritized Rice and said, right, I need to get this player now, so I'm going to spend the money and I'm going to sacrifice that?
Well, to be honest,
right wing there.
The signing that I think had more of an effect on the budget was Havertz. Because, like, I have it on good authority that Arsenal were offered Mohamed Kudus at exactly the same time when we signed Havertz, and Arsenal told Kudus that we're going to come in for you, because I think at that time he was literally just about to join Brighton before he went to West Ham, and then Arsenal called him and said, wait, hold off, we will sign you, don't sign with Brighton. And then Havertz came on the market, and Arteta went and prioritized Havertz, and then they couldn't get rid of any other players. So then they didn't have the funds freed up to sign Kudus. But if you sign Kudus instead of Havertz, then you've got, at the very least, Kudus can play from the right or left. And you've got
And centrally.
Yeah. So you've got there's that, like, it fixes a problem. But Arteta saw Havertz and said, actually, no, I want to build around Havertz, and it's a market opportunity. And I think Real Madrid were in for Havertz as well at the same time. And that's why Arsenal even overpaid on wages for Havertz, because Real Madrid were saying,
Yeah, they were, yeah.
So that kind of fucked us up as well. Bad prioritization of funds. But again, if you're a illogical, irrational team, you make the signings and then you work it out after. We don't do that. We work it out first and then make the signings, but then you're left with a situation where it doesn't always go in your favor. So, yeah, that's why I say it's a mixture of being unlucky, but we brought it on ourselves, to be honest. And I maintain Liverpool invested in their attack so that the margins will always be falling on their favor when you've got guys that can kind of get you out when it's not going right for you. We don't have that in abundance. We just have Saka, basically, when Jesus is injured.
All right. So, yeah. Me, like I say, personally, I feel like you fell off quite a bit in that first half of the season. That done the damage for the second half of the season. But I'm gonna. Well, Tom, what do you think of Arsenal season last year? Well, I want to do. Let's get it moving quickly because I want to move on to Chelsea's season. So
I feel like they just started off not fast at all. More than anything, I just think they started slow. Even like I think they picked up a few results to begin with, but even like the telltale signs was really there, to be honest. I don't think that there was firing on all cylinders like by any stretch. And then obviously they just started to drop points, didn't they? And then,
we knew by December they weren't going to win the league.
Yeah.
And definitely, I feel like it was.
And that isn't. You're not wrong, Kofi. Like there's an accumulation of things like we've been speaking about that have led to that point. But I just felt like you weren't up for it. I don't know whether they.
No, I don't know if it was they wasn't up for it.
No, like, you know what I'm saying, like missing out on the season prior, that 1 point on the last game of the season.
But you know what it is, right?
I don't know whether that took it out of them a little bit.
But you got to think about the structure of it, right? Like it might feel like we went backwards, but because we ran deeper in the Champions League, I think it kind of compensates in that Liverpool obviously went out of the Champions League a bit earlier. It might feel like it wasn't like we fell off just because. You know how it is. Sometimes the Premier League swings deeper if both teams are kind of on the same trajectory. Liverpool obviously didn't get any big injuries. That's a huge help to them. If Salah and Van Dijk get injured, it's a different. But that's the life of football, right? And I can't.
Yeah, but Saka's injury was prior to you. So it happened after. Like you was already out of the title race by then, I think.
But remember, Jesus got injured. And we're playing without an actual recognized striker.
No, I get that. But even at points, he wasn't really playing himself up anyway, was he?
It's kind of the point that I made about your injuries. I don't like.
No, but I don't think you can.
No, don't get me wrong. Arsenal did suffer with injuries, but I don't think that's the reason that they didn't win the league. I think they didn't win the league because
that's how I see it as well.
Liverpool didn't have injuries.
Me and Kobe had debated about this before. Private chat.
They had their strongest team out of the whole season, near enough.
And ironically,
I can't think of any major injuries they had last season at all. So I think, Liverpool, let's call it straight. Like Liverpool deserved to win the league last season more than anything. Sure. I don't think like Arsenal didn't put up a challenge. City obviously was out of it. We was nowhere near good enough, especially in the middle part of the season, sort of like from December onwards. And Liverpool was just consistent the whole way through. But saying that, I still think if Arsenal didn't have injuries like to Saka and whatever else, I still don't think they would have won the league. Personally, I think Liverpool was just too strong, and they didn't have the injuries.
What a goal that was! Gakpo, Cody Gakpo just scored a fucking great goal.
They made me sick. But you know what it is? I agree with everything you said, Tommy. And the reason I say I don't feel like we went backwards is just more on the fact of it was compounded.
You went deeper into the Champions League,
and it was like the injuries just made it like compounded it. So that's why, like, if we didn't have injuries,
I do get what you mean. I don't think you went backwards. I don't think you went backwards. Your biggest issue was Saka being injured throughout that little January period, or like what was it? It happened. Was it January that it happened, or Feb?
Yeah, I think it was like January.
Around that sort of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was because it was.
Yeah, I think that's what affects. Listen, at the end of the day, if Saka's fit, the gap between you and Liverpool closes a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, Liverpool sort of faded at the end of the season because they'd already won the league by then, so the gap wasn't actually that big towards the end of the season. But I think the gap would have been closed up a little bit more if Saka was fully fit. But like you said, I don't think it's a backward step for Arsenal. I just think you just plateaued. I think you've plateaued the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I agree, and that's my thing. And I think going deeper in the Champions League just kind of made up for it a little bit in that there was some level of progress, but you can only do so much when your best players are not there and you're coming up against a PSG that are just monsters. And PSG deserve the Champions.
Let's move it on to Chelsea season because we've nearly done an hour on Arsenal already. We ain't nowhere near where I want to go. So this is going to be a long stream. So let's get started with Chelsea. Me personally, our season.
Yeah, we'll do a quick turnaround on Chelsea.
I think obviously we started. What save that is, Petrovic. We started really, really well. Obviously, from the start of the season, we're playing football that was just beautiful to watch, like great football. Hit December, we had a few injuries in there. At the time, I wasn't really considering the injuries as a big problem because I started to see things with the manager that I didn't like. I started in his press conferences, the way that he was talking. So this is before we'd even started losing. He started to downplay where we were, and I thought, I gave Enzo Maresca a lot of stick because I thought, mentally, I think he drilled it in their heads and he gave them a pass to have a few bad performances and not maintain. Oh my God, and maintain the level that we was playing at. He was telling them we're not competing. We're no chance of winning the league. We're not ready. And I think that stuck in them players' heads. And then after that, we started dropping off. We did have an injury to Lavia, which kind of messed up the whole system. And we saw that when he came back, that it kind of went back to how we wanted to play in this first half of the season. But yeah, we hit December, and that was just abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And I didn't have much hope, I'm not going to lie, towards the end of the season. It was touch and go. We managed to get top 4 in the last game of the season. But ultimately, you come away at the end of the season with a Conference League trophy, a Club World Cup, and we're all sitting there as happy Chelsea fans going, we're back. Do you know what I mean? So...
But a question that I have for you guys, what was your expectation last season? And
exactly what we got for me. It was top 4 and the Conference League. It weren't any other trophy. It was Conference League and top 4. That's exactly what I wanted.
I personally wanted a run in the cups. I didn't. I'm not sitting there saying we should have won.
We weren't great in the cups. We weren't great in the cups at all.
No, we wasn't. We
threw away that game against Newcastle.
The B team. Yeah. Yeah. But my expectation was top 4 and win that Conference League. And yeah, that successful season, if you ask me.
So where do you guys think you're at now in comparison? Because you guys are in a weird space in that, like, obviously you guys are fans, so you follow the club and what you do a lot more, but do you feel like things are more settled? Or because I'll give you a perspective, like as a non-fan looking in, it still kind of doesn't feel like we know who Chelsea's best starting 11 is. Yeah. I get that. I do get that. I think obviously where we've had such a big influx of players every season, it's like, okay, so we've signed Gittins for argument's sake. We've signed that. We've now signed Estevao. It's like, what is going to be our strongest 11? Obviously, it doesn't help that we've not had much of a pre-season either. But yeah. I think it's going to be a case of
I do feel we're a lot more of a settled side now. But I think we'll just have to sort of play it by ear. I think I said it in the in another group chat a couple of weeks ago. I said like rotation's going to be so key, especially for the start of the season where we've not had a pre-season.
I was going to
rotation of the starting 11 and things like that is going to be a massive thing.
I'm expecting you guys to kind of be a little bit like rusty, maybe the first few games, just because.
Yeah, I thought that, but then I watched both of our pre-season games and we looked really, really like quick and sharp. So, I mean, pre-season is obviously going to be different to playing Palace first game of the season. We looked quite good against Liverpool, didn't they, in the Community Shield the other day? But I mean, we'll see. It's a tough one, I think, especially because we ain't had a pre-season to say anything.
Do you think? I mean, in terms of my expectation for you guys, I genuinely think that you guys should be challenging for the Premier League. I'm not saying going all the way, but I think with the players that you put in and the amount of the approach that you've taken, I think challenging now after last season and like finishing fourth, I think challenging.
Yeah, I expect our challenge to go. I expect our challenge to go a lot further into the season this season. I still don't think we're going to win the league this year. I think we're going to be up there to begin with, and then I think come March, I think that's probably when we'll tell that we're not going to win the league personally. But
Kofi, what did you think of our season last year?
I mean, it's funny. Look, I'll be honest. There was a lot of hate watching for me. I was invested a lot in the beginning, and when you guys were shaky, it was nice to see. But then I quickly it's funny when I go back to Pochettino's. There was a stint under Pochettino where I realized, Chelsea are actually not as bad as what we make out that they are and what it kind of looked like at the time. It was more so all the off-field stuff and just Pochettino fighting with the board. And then I realized, man, okay, yeah, Chelsea might actually be coming back. And then you start signing all of these players that we were linked with as well. So I was kind of invested in the journey of some of these players like Gittins, Hato. So it's hard for me to sit here and say, I don't actually think Chelsea should be challenging because the players that you've signed, and Estabio is another like prospect that I think it's going to be hard to ignore the impact that he can make in this team. So yeah, you guys have healed way too. I said this to some of the Arsenal guys, man. You guys have healed way too quickly for my liking, and I think you should be challenging because I think it's going to be back open again. Now it's top 5 as well. I feel like the challenge for the title,
it's only top 5 depending on how we do in Europe, ain't it?
So you guys won Europe.
Isn't top 5 dependent?
I think doesn't the coefficient go up because you guys won Europa Conference and Spurs won the Europa League? Doesn't that add to?
I'm unsure. To be honest, I'd be guessing.
Yeah, I think it is top 5.
I thought it sort of happened throughout the season. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think I've read something that it's top 5 again. But I think
it's top 5.
Yeah, I think that it definitely up the title race because
I think we've got like 9 teams in Europe this season or something.
Yeah, because you got Forest, Palace,
Chelsea,
Arsenal, Spurs.
Have Forest taken
Europa League?
Palace's Europa League, yeah. So Palace in the conference.
Yeah, and then Villa didn't make Europe, did they? They finished just below.
Did they not? No, I feel like they're in. I feel like they're in. They got Europa League, I swear.
Yeah. They got Europa. So yeah, that might be the other team. So I think I'll be honest, man. I think you guys could do something, and also the fact that you've signed 2 strikers, or like I know João Pedro is not a traditional 9, but he's somebody that operates in a way that he'll score goals. I think you've added players that I think if everything clicks, you should be more dangerous going forward because obviously with Jackson, that football IQ, or he's not a natural striker. He's an instinct player. If you give him too much time, he'll fuck it up. And then if you
that is literally it. That is literally it. When he's got too much time, he's literally like a calamity. But more often than not, on his instinct, he's
kind of like that's how I look at Martinelli. Like he's the same. He's an instinct player. If you give him loads of time, he just fucking runs the ball off the pitch.
Whilst we're on the topic of players, we might as well just go through signings. The next topic that I wanted to talk about. So what I want to do, TK, before you joined in, I let Kofi know what I wanted to do. So I wanted to go through just how our seasons were last year, what we thought about them, then talk about the signings and the outgoings that we're doing this season, then lead on to like other clubs' windows. Doesn't have to be a long conversation. Then talk about our fixture list. Doesn't have to be all the games. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to ask the big question: where are we finishing? And then I'll ask another question after that, and then we'll wrap it up. But in terms of signings, let's go to Arsenal. Obviously, you've spent 220. We're going to do this in euros, yeah. Just bear in mind this is from Transfer Market as well, yeah. We're going to do this in euros, yeah.
Yep.
So Arsenal spent a total of 224.2 million euros. Zubimendi, 70 million euros. Gyökeres, 65.8 million euros. Madueke, 56 million euros. Mosquera, 15 million euros. Norgard, 11.6 million euros. Kepa, 5.8 million euros. Fabio Vieira come back from his loan. Reece Nelson come back from his loan. Lokonga come back from his loan. And Carl Hayne come back from his loan. Your outgoings, a grand total of, do you want to have a guess before I say this figure?
I want to say probably no more than 50 million. Actually, if it's in euros, maybe no more than
euros,
maybe no more than 60 million euros.
I'll say 20. I'll say 20.
20 million, yeah. All right, I'm going to do it backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Neto come back from the end of his loan. Sterling, obviously, end of his loan, so he's gone back to Chelsea. Tomiyasu terminated his contract. Jorginho left on a free. Tierney left on a free. Thomas Partey left on a free. Tavares sold for 5 million euros. Marquinhos sold for 3 million euros. That's it.
Is that it?
I think you know what it is. I think we also got some sell-on fees. I can't remember who it was from, but yeah, doesn't surprise me, man. We like
8 million euros. That is, I'm not lying, Kofi. That is fucking shocking.
And again, this is all down to that Edu era. We've never been a good team at selling players, but it was abysmal during Edu's reign.
I don't know if you've mentioned it yet, but I see something on I think it was either on Twitter or Insta, and Ipswich are selling Amari Hutchinson for more than what Arsenal's record transfer fee received.
I think they're selling him for 40 million. You guys get
I think
like 15
I think we
million,
get
right?
percentage of that as well.
Yeah, I think you guys get like or 12 million, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the figure is. Maybe it's like 10% or 20% or something. If it's 45 million, then obviously we'll get 9 million. So
who's that?
Hutchinson.
Yeah, we've got 9.8 million off of it.
But yeah, I mean, and again, this is what makes Arteta's job a lot harder. And you can never put selling on the manager because it's not his job.
No, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. No, you can't blame him for that. No, I agree with that.
And again, because we're so logical, every fucking season it's the same thing. We need to offload players. And Edu puts some players on ridiculous wages. So like Zinchenko and Reece Nelson, the reason why we're struggling to sell them is because we're selling the teams that will be buying them. Either we have to pay to terminate their contract, or we have to like let the fee be way less. Because Zinchenko's on 150k, Reece Nelson's on 100k.
Cool. Semenyo.
2-1, yeah.
Good goal.
He was just talking about it.
All right, Kofi, I don't know why you're not going in for him, man. Or why you didn't go in for him over Madueke?
Saka, innit?
I'll be honest.
He plays off the left, though, Semenyo.
It's on the right.
He's on the right today, but he plays off the left.
I'll be honest. I'm not all the way unhappy with the Madueke deal now that I have.
No, not at all. No, I'm not. I've said this before. I said Madueke will do a good job for you I just think Semenyo is a fucking good player.
The thing is, you're going to be paying 70 million for Semenyo when you can get Madueke for 52.
Yeah, because he had just signed a new deal.
So, pay the extra fucking money. You get a better player for it. You get more output.
When they're turning out £8 million or 8 million euros for outgoings, they cannot afford it.
That's the problem. And when you've got someone like Reece Nelson on 100k,
but the thing is, Semenyo is going to do a better job than what Martinelli is. So I'm not saying he's going to match Saka's output, but he's going to get a lot closer to Saka's output than what Martinelli is. So
I agree.
If that can be the difference between you winning the league and not winning the league, why would you not do it?
I proper wanted. I like. He was one of the players that I said I would actually be so happy if we signed him because he's both footed. I just love players that are both footed because it's hard to stop them because they could go either way, and he's fucking powerful.
I was surprised he signed a new deal. I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gone this summer.
Yeah, I thought United would. I genuinely thought United would go in for him. But yeah, I mean, look, yeah, it's always going to be a big issue when you can't sell players. When I look at you guys, when I look at Liverpool, you're selling like players that don't even have Premier League, haven't made more than fucking 20, 30 Premier League appearances for 10s, 15s, 20 million.
Yeah.
We can't even players.
Shall we go through Chelsea's?
Let's do it. It's gonna make me depressed, but let's do it.
Don't do the returns on the loans deals. Just do the money in once.
Chelsea incomings, right? We've spent 279.65 million euros, yeah? So just let's round it up, 280 million euros, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
João Pedro, 63.7 million euros. Jamie Gittins, 56 million euros. João Hato, 44.18 million euros. Delap, 35.5 million euros. Esteval, 34 million euros. Now we bought him, obviously. He's come in this season, but we bought him seasons before. Esugu, 22.27 million. He's a decent player, by the way. Sarr, 14 million, who's now gone out on loan. Kendry Pires, 10 million, who's now gone on loan. And then obviously we've had a couple of players that have come back: Disasi, Chukwuemeka, Viega, Chilwell, and Washington. When you look at our outgoings, 232 million euros that we've got coming in. So what's that difference? What, about 50-something million? 40-something million? 48 million? Something like that?
Yeah, give or take.
Difference. So in terms of PSR, we're allowed to lose 105 million over a space of 3 years. We've got 43 million. We've still got signings that we're going to get rid of. Still got signings that we're going to get in. Madueke, 56 million euros. João Felix, 30 million euros. Petrovic, 28.9 million euros. Ugo Chukwu, 28.7 million. Dewsbury Hall, 28.65 million. Broja, 23 million. Amugu, 14.5 million, who made like 2 appearances last year. Humphries, 14 million. Kepa, 5.8 million. Bergstrom on a free, and Bettinelli, 2.4 million. And then we've seen Sarr, Penders, Pires, Gui all go out on loan. And Sancho obviously has left the club as well. So it's a lot different. The contrast between our business and Arsenal's business is huge. We are obviously flipping players. We're making profit on these players. And that's allowing us to consistently buy and add to this team and chop and change whenever we need to. And I think the owners, I'm not going to lie, obviously, our owners get a lot of stick from Chelsea fans. But this is one thing you cannot, you've got to give.
Have we lost Case?
I think we might have done, I wasn't sure if it was my stream. But yeah, I think carrying on from what he was saying, I think he was saying about obviously Chelsea fans giving them a lot of stick. Obviously, I think the owners, I was probably one of them. I give them a little bit of stick, thinking like, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
But they obviously coming. They had a clear strategy. We've never seen sort of owners do this before. What they're doing at such a high sort of like in such a way, basically, which is what I was trying to say. Like Brighton obviously do it on like a bit of a smaller scale, and obviously make a bit more money than what we do in terms of they might buy a player for like 10 million and then sell him for like 50 million for argument's sake. Whereas we probably buy a player for like 20 million and sell him for 25 kind of thing. But yeah, I know, like I feel like the owners are sort of coming, they've got a clear plan, or they've had a clear plan, and it is starting to pay off now. I didn't get to say it before. I still think, and I said it on the last stream that I've done with Case, the difference between us winning the league and not winning the league, I think again is going to be experience and age. Like every year that you play in the Premier League, you do gain that bit more of experience. But I think that's probably the difference between us winning and not winning the league this year. Personally, I just wanted to quickly throw that in there because I didn't get to say it before. But yeah,
I agree, and I think your owners are playing that Moneyball game, and I think because we've seen the glory years of like our clubs, and football has completely changed. Like PSR wasn't as big a thing because there wasn't as much money in football as there is today, and these guys have come in and America, and it's like a trade. How they do it in like NFL, NBA, and it's literally just players are just commodities, and they're not you shouldn't fall in love with players like we're used to before. If that player can free up a space in the team and make a bit of money, they're gone. Yeah. Whereas
obviously with a few exceptions, I think obviously you've got like Saka for you, for argument's sake, like he's indispensable. I think if any bid come in for Saka, you're probably not selling him unless it's like 200 odd million. Same with sort of Palmer with us. Like you do have an except like the odd exception that players are indispensable, but other than that, like I completely agree with what you're saying. Like players are literally their assets, and we need to be prepared that they can be sold.
And I think for you guys, it's to your point. That's the only thing that I think that you will suffer from is to your point about the lack of experience, and again having to go through that whole gelling phase. But it seems like you've got a bit more nucleus this time around in players.
I think the good thing about us this season, as opposed to probably the last couple of seasons, we've bought so many players and they've been our first team. Sort of once we've bought them, all of them have gone into the first team, as opposed to now, I think we've got our first team from last season and we're just slowly adding little bits to it. I think that's the big difference, and I think that's going to be a key thing, which makes me think that we could go further into the title this year. But I do think we're not going to win the league this year, personally.
If you look at some of the key signings that you made, let's say again, let's just hypothesize the Garnacho deal happens. Pedro came from Brighton, so knows Premier League. Garnacho knows the Premier League. Delap came from the Premier League. A lot of like a big bulk of the signings that you've made don't really need much time to settle on a personal front, and it's just more
Premier League. Premier League.
But I don't think the transition will be as aggressive. Maresca and his team have been there now for a full year. Everything's running on their time. Yeah, that's why I genuinely think, and I want more pundits to say it, because I don't want you guys to have that free ghost season at like challenging for the league, but not having the pressure. I want everybody to acknowledge that Chelsea are now a title contender, because I saw glimpses of it from when Pochettino was there, in that you guys are like, there's something there with the team. There's the team has been kind of constructed with players that should make an impact statistically. So, and I think it's going to pay off. Because I look at like, I'm a guy that when it comes to players, I look at the profile and pay attention to the profile. And I think you profiled a lot of good players who, as long as the manager can get it to work.
Like you say, money. It's the Moneyball effect, the Moneyball game.
Yeah. And it's funny because as much as people want to talk about the eye test, right? When you look at Brighton, when you look at Brentford, two of the best like teams for scouting players, their players are the ones that are scouted in a Moneyball way, and then they end up getting picked up by the bigger teams anyway. So why can't it work on a bigger scale like you guys are doing? Why can't it work from the beginning?
Yeah. That's what I think. That's what I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah, this is kind of what really worries me with you guys. But I'm happy that you're in the Champions League, because now, again, it means that your squad has to be pushed. And I'm hoping that because you ran in the Club World Cup, I'm hoping that means that there's a little bit of fatigue that maybe comes in. And again, because I am genuinely worried. I'm always worried when we play you guys these days, just because we struggle with mid blocks. But I am genuinely worried that you guys could go quite far and push everyone, and I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think it's it is a matter of time with us. But yeah, I just think we're another season away. But it's funny that you said you're glad that we're in the Champions League, because I feel like it's probably not a good thing that we're in the Champions League, because it's the same thing as last season. It's the same thing as the Premier League. I don't think we're expected to win the Premier League, and I don't think we're expected to win the Champions League. So being in the Champions League this season, it's just going to give us that little bit more experience for next season. Do you get what I'm sort of trying to say?
Yeah, no. It's like a taste. It readies young players for like being on the big stage. But one thing I will is that this new format of the Champions League, it does feel a little bit different in that because you're seeing like bigger matches, like obviously straight from the beginning, you're always guaranteed to play some big teams, and it's like a league format. I know they slightly tweaked it now that if you like finish in that like bottom segment, you're the away team, but it did mean that like obviously City was shit in the Champions League, so were PSG, and they ended up winning it in the group stages, or that stage. Oh my god, 2-2. Semenyo, Jesus Christ, what a goal!
You're joking?
Yeah, again. 2-2. Semenyo,
wow.
Fucking hell, fucking Liverpool. I hate them,
man. Like Antoine.
I think you will enjoy. I think you will enjoy, and you might actually run a bit deeper in the Champions League because of it. Because honestly, this new league format, I was against it. I was like, oh man, they're fucking up the heritage of the Champions League, the whole group stages. But I won't lie, it was entertaining, man.
I was the same. But I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it last season. I proper enjoyed it. So,
so I think it could play.
Probably it's not ideal for clubs in terms of a few more games and things like that. But I properly enjoyed the actual format side of it.
Yep. Case, did you see Semenyo's goal? Oh, I think he's still.
Are you back, son? Yeah, trust me. He messaged me saying his internet's gone. I backed Bournemouth at the start of the game. You know, it was 8-1. I put a fiver on him. I thought, why not?
They could do it, man, because they took off Ekitike. I can't remember. Yeah, they made some subs. So now,
to be fair to them, they played well in the first half. They played well in the first half. I said to my dad, as soon as I saw the lineups, I was thinking, Liverpool could get overrunning. You know, they've got too much of an attacking midfield, and their fullbacks are too attacking.
Man, honestly, I've been wrong saying this. As much as people,
you back, Case?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck me, my internet completely dropped out, man. I think I kicked the Wi-Fi thing underneath. It's fucked now, though.
Did you see Semenyo's goal?
Keeps dipping in and out.
We can hear you.
When did you? Yeah, what? Where did I cut off?
He was gone for a good 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah. I saw Semenyo's goal. Yeah, what, 2-1? Yeah, it's not 2-2.
When we was talking about the owners.
Yeah, it's 2-2 now.
Yeah, it's 2-2.
Yeah, Semenyo just scored again.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I've had to turn it off. My internet's proper crashed out. No, I was just saying about the owners that there's one thing that you can't. Where they get a lot of stick, but that's something that you just got to give them the credit for, man. They've completely the money side of things.
Yeah, that's what we
Some say it's dodgy, but in terms of what we're doing, I think we've set the blueprint for every single club in the Premier League, and I feel like you can see it happening now. You can see Liverpool doing the same.
What we were just saying was that we're doing what sort of Brighton do on a bigger scale in terms of Brighton might sign a player for 10 million and sell him for 50, whereas we might sign a player for 20 million and sell him for 25, kind of thing. So it's like as much as we're not making as much of a profit as Brighton are, we're still
more players
getting the money in, kind of thing.
And the funny, to that point as well,
because
you are Chelsea and you're obviously seen as one of like the big four, you're always going to have to pay more. Clubs will always like negotiate in that way. So it's like I don't, unless you go like really grassroots, I don't see you being able to get away with signing someone for 10 million. Any player that's coming from a tier 2 club, you're gonna have to pay that premium. And I was saying to TK that if you think about it, right, Brighton and Brentford are the 2 clubs that have done what you guys are doing consistently. That have done what you guys do consistently, and all of their players end up going to the top 4 teams, right? Or your Real Madrid. So why can't it work on the scale that you're doing it? Why can't it work? I think it will work, and I would actually prefer. I like that style because I'm all about profiling of players, and I think you've signed good profiles. So I see it working. This is what's scaring me because it's funny. The players that you have, some of the players you've signed are players that we were linked with. So I was like following them, like Hato, Gittins. Hato, I think, is going to be your Timber. He's like a multi-functioning, like the guy is so fucking scary. Like in the 80th minute, he could sprint the length of a pitch in the 80th minute comfortably, and I think he's going to be a big signing for you guys. That's why I'm kind of confused when fans are calling for another CB signing. I don't really think you need it. I think you've got enough.
This is what I've been saying. I've been saying this, but Maresca's asking for it, and the only thing that I'd say is I think Maresca's earned the right to be backed. You know.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone that's criticised him since December. I loved him up until December. And I think he's won me over a little bit because that Club World Cup, I'm not going to lie, I did not expect that at all. I didn't expect the performances. I didn't expect us to win it. And
you know what it is with the Club World Cup? I also think, right, the reason I wasn't surprised that you won it is that we have to remember, a lot of football had been played. And I think that means that anybody can win it. Like, it's the fittest team, or the team that stays the sharpest for the longest wins it, because it's at the end of the season. And so it didn't really surprise me that you won it because you have had a big squad. But I would have rather you didn't win it because obviously it's giving you like momentum and a lease of life. But I was saying to TK, I want pundits to start fucking putting pressure on me. I don't want you guys to get away with the whole no. You're there with us. You're challenging for the title. Oh my god, you're challenging for the title. I'm sorry. You are title challengers, because I've seen glimpses of it already. And I think the reason why it gets put on Arsenal a lot is because our fan base is very loud and we're also very emotional. So it gets engagement. And we bring it on ourselves, quite frankly.
So one thing that popped up earlier on in the stream was squad depth, and this is why KC was in the chat. Your signings that you've made this season, do you think? How do you think that's done for Arsenal, like this season?
Hey, Case, let me cut you off a second, please. Whereas I'm gonna have to log off, man. My head is pounding. I feel like this thing is just coming back again. My head is absolutely in agony. Go on, I'll chat to you later or something, yeah?
In a bit, mate.
Sweet.
No worries, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Still concussed from Thursday.
Yeah, I've had that before, and it lasts for a while.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
It can even go for longer.
So we won't go on for too much longer anyway. I'm going to try and wrap this up. Like we'll end up going on for like 2.5 hours if we carry on the way that we're going. We're having a good discussion anyway. But in terms of like your signings. You've got your striker now. You've got Gyökeres. You've replaced Jorginho and Partey with Norgard and Zubimendi. You've signed Madueke on the left wing, which you wanted a left winger. Obviously, Madueke is not the guy that you wanted. How do you see your signing so far this season?
We can go through them one by one if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Zubimendi, for me personally, he's the most important signing that we've made this season. Even
do you think he's better than Partey? Or is that yet to be seen?
The reason why I'm going to say yes is that because Partey had shown us very early on that he's like, you can't rely on him. He's not a reliable player from a fitness standpoint. And I feel like Zubimendi has an IQ and style of play that will allow for him to get around the pitch, not get too involved with the physical side because he doesn't rely on that. He's going to be like the linchpin of our team. It's kind of like signing, you know what Jorginho was for you guys when you guys won the Champions League? He was like the heartbeat of your team, and he was just like an underappreciated.
Do you think, like, obviously he comes in now, yeah, he's like, I see him as more of like an advanced player. He's not like a 6, is he?
You know what it is? He's a 6, yeah, but not in the Premier League sense. Because in Spain, like the Spanish 6s, outside of Rodri, have never been like physical. It's always been like, if you look at Busquets, he's not a player that is like, he's like the quintessential number 6, but he's not a player you would say is a destroyer. In the Premier League, our 6s are like, the best 6s have always been destroyers. Makelele's, Rodri, like it's always been like, because it's a physical league. So I think he's a 6, but he's a different type of 6. In the same way that Jorginho, not a physical player, but he's a quintessential 6. He makes the team tick. He breaks up play.
So do you think the Zubimendi addition will allow him to go forward a little bit more and maybe Rice drop a little bit deeper and do the nitty gritty, or do you think Rice is going to be the more advanced one?
Rice is going to be the more advanced one.
Rice is going to be advanced, and Zubimendi is going to sit back a little bit and do the dictating.
Yeah, and he's going to progress the ball so fast to Rice on that left side.
So do you think you think you haven't replaced Partey, but you've upgraded on Jorginho then?
No, I don't even think it's about like Zubimendi has replaced Partey, but just in a different way. Like he's just more intelligent.
Different type of player.
In the same way that Zinchenko is a 6 in Spain. He can play in that 6 role and he'll look incredible because he's got wonderful ability to recycle the ball, break up play in a not so physical league. Zubimendi can still, like, I've since we were linked with him in 2023, I've always kind of followed him a bit, and I started kind of just like watching to see what his strengths were. And you see it, like he does break up, even for Spain, like he breaks up play, but it's not pace and power 6. It's the same as Jorginho. Jorginho is one of the weakest and slowest players in football that we've probably seen in the Premier League, but he breaks up play very well and he makes the team tick. He's a metronome. And this is why, like, not to kind of sway from what we're talking about, but this is why I'm so fucking hard on Ødegaard, because it's an obvious weak point in our midfield when you're playing a 3 and you have somebody that isn't physical. It then puts a higher burden on a Zubimendi, because when you're playing a Brentford, when you're playing a Newcastle, and they're just physical as hell in the middle, it means that fuck 3-2. Fuck's sake, man.
Liverpool scored, yeah?
Yeah, Chiesa. Jesus.
Chiesa's still there?
Yeah, they can't seem to get rid of him.
Oh yeah, 3-2, yeah. Fucking lucky bastards, man.
What
is it, 90th minute, I bet? Something stupid.
88.
Typical, isn't
it? Again, you see what I mean about attacking margins. This is what Liverpool consistently do. You sign a bunch of attacking game changers or just players that are just attacking, you'll win the games in these minutes. Whereas for Arsenal, we don't do that because we just don't have a attacking depth. But to get back to what we were talking about, yeah, Zubimendi is for me going to be the signing of the season because I feel like he will allow Gyökeres and other players to just do what they're good at. And then coming on to the next player, Norgard, I think that that's going to be, I call it like a dark horse signing. To get somebody like Norgard, who was Brentford's most ever-present player, their captain.
He had good statistics last season.
Yeah,
we
arguably
already had this debate, haven't we? We had a good debate on this one because I feel like him coming into your squad was just adding legs to the team rather than, and you were losing some technical ability in your squad in Jorginho, who I thought, obviously, he's got no legs, but he's still, you know, what he brings to the team in terms of his position and his technical ability. He's a better footballer than Norgard, and you're adding just legs to the team, but he's still a oldish player in terms of footballing terms. Do you know what I mean? He's 30. What is he? 33?
No.
32, something like that.
31. Just turned 31.
He's just turned 31, so he's you know he's coming on towards the end of his career. You'd imagine he's probably got about 3 or 4 years left.
But what you have to remember is, as much as you say we're losing like the technical ability in the middle or in depth, we play on the invert on the left, right? So if you have Miles Lewis-Skelly on the pitch, he's a central midfielder. Like he's a central midfielder playing at left back. So it kind of all compensates for itself. And I think if you had to go through any of the teams outside the top 6, Brentford are probably the next best team in the league. And you're signing their captain, who is highly experienced Premier League player, for £13 million. When Manchester United just paid 75 million euros for Bryan Mbeumo, who's their next best.
Don't get me wrong, I do think it's a good signing in terms of value. Like you've got a bargain at the end of the day. I feel like you have got a bargain, but
I think
do you think like he's added to your depth of your squad? Is what I'm trying to say. Like
1000%, because you also got to remember he's a Danish international as well. He's not like, we're not talking about a player that we're signing a player that hasn't got Premier League experience. We're talking about a captain of probably the best team outside of the top 6. So for me, that signing, when you're talking about having to play these PSR games and the fact that we can't spend a lot of money because we're not selling players, that's the type of signing that gives us the ability to spend more money. So I'm very happy with that signing. And watching him in preseason, he's looked really good. So, and with Jorginho, you wasn't really going to be able to get any more out of him.
Yeah, he was done. Yeah, his time in the Premier League was done. That's for sure. So I do feel like you needed to do that. I think you've got good value in that signing. It's just I felt like it wasn't something like.
I think it's because people never saw it coming.
You were sacrificing something. It felt like you were sacrificing the technical ability for the. Do you know what I'm saying?
But again, because Miles Lewis-Skelly is there, people also discounting the fact that if Calafiori stays fit, there are going to be some games where you can just play Miles Lewis-Skelly in the midfield.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not too worried. Like we have options, and again, even if that never did happen, having Norgard there, I'm very happy with that signing. And I would say that again, that's a for me a shrewd signing by us. And with Zubimendi's addition, and now that we're a transition team, he is the guy. Like he's literally a one-two touch max player, and he moves the ball so fucking fast, man. So fucking fast. He progresses that ball up the pitch. So I personally think that Zubimendi's fitness record, if he stays fit, nobody will fucking talk about Thomas Partey again this season. Like I like.
But do you feel like, you know what I was saying about squad depth? Yeah, like I said, the season last year, I felt like you was 1 or 2 injuries away from not being able to have them players that would allow you to do what you want to do. So like, let's be honest, like you're aiming for a league title. That's what you're trying to do, yeah, because that's where you are. Finished second 3 times on a bounce. If you was to lose a Zubimendi and you had to have Norgard stepping in, do you think he's still going to be able to do the things you need to do to try and win the league? Or have you got the depth there in your squad yet? Obviously, the window's not... I'm saying this because I know what you're going to say, yeah? We know the window's not closed yet. Do you think that you've got the squad depth yet?
Jesus Christ, 4-2 Salah. Fucking... No way. My God. This is what I mean. You see, man.
Fuck them.
Fucking
lucky team.
And
this is what they've done all last season, you know?
Exactly. And this is going to make this result not look as bad as it should.
As it should be, yeah.
Yeah,
they've done it all last season, just late goals the whole season.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, do you have the squad depth there for players to come in and step in and do the job that you want to do to try and see the season out and go for that league title?
Okay, so if the window was to close today or if the window closes and we don't sign anyone else, I would say no. But if we sign somebody centrally in that 10/8 role, let's say like an Eze, somebody that can carry the ball. If we lose a Zubimendi and Norgard has to come in, and you've got someone like Eze that you can play in Odegaard's position, we'll be fine. Because Eze can carry the ball, can make something out of nothing in central areas, and it compensates for not having Zubimendi, who can progress the ball and make us an attacking threat. So to answer your question, if the window closes and we don't make any other signings, no, categorically we will struggle. But if we sign Eze or somebody like that, then we'll be fine.
Do you think it's just a 10 role? Do you still think you need a left winger?
Again, if it's Eze, I would say it's okay because he can play
both.
Yeah, but I think I really believe that we have to sign a world-class or somebody with that something special.
I saw someone tweet today that if we don't sell Nkunku, for example,
I heard he's going Bayern.
Yeah, he's linked to Bayern. Yeah, if we don't sell him, for example, they said that we should try and hijack Xavi Simons.
You know what's funny? I think, with the players that you guys still have left to sell, I just saw someone comment, DCF commented saying United to beat Arsenal 1-0. Never going to happen, but hey. I think what's going to happen with the guys that you still have left to sell, you'll just sell them for less than you're asking for. I think you're going to get rid of them all because you guys are really
I know what you mean. I think we've left it too late in the window. I think other teams have been smart. Leave it to the end of the window when we're trying to sign players.
Yep.
And it's going to reduce what we want for them. So like Nkunku, who we were asking for like 45 million, something like that. We ain't going to get that now. I reckon we're going to end up getting like 30 million.
Yep.
Jackson, we were saying we wanted 100 million, 80 million. It's got less and less and less. I reckon he's going to go for about 60 million, 60, 70, which is still good.
Is he on big wages? He's probably on about what, 100,
no,
right?
They're not on big wages. We're on this. The contracts that we issue out to these players is in incentive based. Low wages, and if they're doing good, they get the boost. Like Cucurella got a new deal today, so he's obviously done well. They get him They get. Look at this, look. Alfie. Yeah, you need to jump on, Alf. What are you on about? Jump on, back your team. Watch the whole stream. He's been backing your team, man. He's been saying some decent stuff.
People call me a deluded Arsenal fan, but I think I'm pretty level-headed when it comes to.
Been saying he ain't said nothing mad.
Serious conversations, but
he ain't said nothing mad. I'll be honest with you. It's been quite a decent conversation, to be fair.
This is a funny thing. People think people like me are the ones that make Arsenal fans look bad. Some of the shit that I see some of these online Arsenal fans say is
like some of it is wild.
Yeah, I wouldn't even fathom saying that in my wildest dreams, but I realize a lot of Arsenal's online fan base are very young and they haven't
What you got to say to that? Can't believe you said Zubi's better than Partey. I think it's a bit too early to say that, though. I'm not going to lie.
I did not say that Zubimendi was better than. You asked me, and I said
they're different players.
It's a different player. Zubimendi is a Spanish number 6. He's closer to the style of Busquets than he is to what Partey is, more physical and kind of the aesthetically pleasing destroyer profile. Zubimendi's intelligent. He's closer to Jorginho. Does he think we're going to win the league? If the window closes today, no, it's going to be the same shit as last time. But if we add Eze, I think that would probably give us enough to go the full way, as long as we don't have any catastrophic injuries. Because I feel like it will address the biggest issue that we have in the middle. Somebody that can pick up the ball and create something out of nothing when Ødegaard is being chased out of the game physically. The biggest issue that Arsenal have faced, when you look at Liverpool, the reason they won the league when they did is because they sign attackers like we sign defenders. And we need to change that. We need to go out on a limb and sign and add attackers in the same way that we do with defenders. It's as simple as that. You can only go so far if you're hard to beat. You have to become the team to beat rather than being a hard team to beat. And I think, look, Liverpool showed it today. It comes down to moments like that. And we just
they've done that. This is what I'm saying. They've done that all last season.
Yeah, if this is Arsenal, it finishes 2-2. Arsenal finish. See, I don't understand why people think that we will finish 3rd or 4th. Like, I don't get it. Like, we haven't regressed. The team isn't weaker.
You're still a strong side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like one.
You'll see it when the season starts. You'll see how strong of a side you are. You're actually a really strong side.
Yeah, you can't actually. It's funny. Like, if you go through all of the other teams that people think would potentially finish above us, they all have bigger issues than we do with their teams needing to gel.
Wow, look at this.
Chelsea, nah, I don't. If Chelsea didn't have Europe, or were maybe in the Europa League again, then I'd say yeah. But why are Manchester City stronger? Please help me understand why Manchester City are stronger.
You know what? We'll get to that in a minute when we talk about other team signings, yeah. But let's just touch base on Gyökeres now. Obviously, the main man, this saga's been going on for I've never seen a club drag out transfers longer than your club. That saga went on for months and months and months. I don't think it was all fully your fault because they were moving like dickheads, Sporting. But
it's funny because remember, Sporting did this with Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now you've got your player, you've got your striker.
Look, it's a funny one. I'm going to be
your system and how you play now.
I'm going to be honest. My biggest frustration with Arsenal fans is that I feel like because we're so used to being gaslit, not because what people were saying is logical. It's really easy to get a reaction out of Arsenal fans because we're so desperate to win and we've always been like a nearly team, that we get gaslit into believing that our problems are bigger than what they are. And all of this pressure that we've put on ourselves to say that a 9 is the thing that makes the difference for Arsenal, in my opinion, we genuinely could challenge for the league and actually take the league if we had signed a world-class left winger. I don't really think the 9 position is as big. If Gabriel Jesus or somebody that could just fucking kick a ball was in that 9 position, we have a 1v1 winger, we win the league. Liverpool have done it without a striker, like a conventional 9. They just had 2 good wingers and somebody that can put the ball in the back of the net in Gakpo. And I feel like it's the same for us. And all this pressure that was put on Havertz, he's not a striker. But he made us really, really hard to beat and he made the system work. And it was always that Martinelli just, it's like the system didn't suit.
You know the problem that I've got, and we've said this before, it's like every season there's another there's always something missing. Like you always saying, "Oh, we need this, we need that, we need this." When is it going to be the time where you turn around and just go, "We got to win the league"?
Look at it like this, right? Pep Guardiola pretty much had the same team that he's had for a very long time. They had one injury to Rodri. They had a striker that scored nearly 40 goals in the league, and yet they finished third.
Yeah, but what you got, the thing is, all of their players are starting to come towards the end of their careers. De Bruyne's, the Kyle Walkers, all these people that have been very, very reliable and part of their core. Edison, he's been looking at leaving. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like all the people that were part of their core of their team had started to fall off. So I'm not surprised that happened last season, because they haven't replaced their core in their team yet, and I think they're going through that process of trying to do that. But
I only say that to say we had I saw a table, and Arsenal had 27 injuries last season, and the next nearest team I think was Newcastle, and they had I think 20 injuries. Any team that had the level of injuries that Arsenal had, and injuries to their most key player.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I've said before, that the injuries that you did have were players like Tomiyasu, who never played anyway. Kieran Tierney never played anyway. Calafiori, who I told you was injury prone and didn't play. Do you know what I mean? Ben White, who picked up injury the season before and carried it on. Obviously, Havertz and Saka were different anomalies.
Okay,
Gabriel Jesus, who has been injured the whole way through his career.
I'll give you perspective, because you say that Tomiyasu being injured the whole season meant that when Timber did his ACL last season as well, remember? Mm-hmm. So Partey was playing at right back because Ben White was also injured, which then meant we didn't have Partey in the middle. Then Odegaard was injured for a little bit last season as well. Saka got injured. Havertz then got injured. Like, we're talking about key players in the team, and that's what I'm saying. City just fucking had lost Rodri, and they fucking were outside of the top four for longer than they were in it. And people will say, "Oh yeah, but City." So when I say Arteta overachieved with the injuries that we had, like, I wholeheartedly mean it. When you compare it to everybody else, how could you expect Arsenal? How could you expect Arsenal to compete for the title? Why is it that City are allowed to drop out, but Arsenal can't?
So I agree. Go on, say that again.
No, I was saying you forget that we lost Timber and Tomiyasu, which meant that Partey was playing at right back. So then that shifts.
Partey's been playing right back since he joined the club. Do you know what I mean? That's where Arteta positioned him, which I find really strange.
No, but it's because we didn't have a right back. So he had to change the system to play on the inverse.
See, this is where I start. Arteta's not the guy. And this is what I've been trying to say, because
this question, but I need to know who this person is. What
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Who do you support? That's what I need to know before, because if you're not an Arsenal supporter, this framing is a bit different to if you're an Arsenal supporter, because then I ask you.
You do have Arsenal supporters saying exactly the same thing as this, saying Arteta needs to go. I have a lot of people moaning about how the club is run and how they're turning that profit and stuff. We get it in our fan base as well. It's just a normal thing. But I've said before, like, this season, I feel like Arteta's under a lot of pressure for obvious reasons. He spent £1 billion. So all of these problems that you speak of have been an accumulation of the signings that he's made up until this point. So if it's been 7 years into this process, that process thing is now out the window. It's just his management now. So 7 years into his management, he spent £1 billion, and you still have holes missing.
No. Come on.
You spoke about Pep before that, and you said that how he had pretty much the same team all the way throughout, and he dominated for about 10 years, 10, 50, well, about 8 to 10 years, hasn't he? Yeah. So he had a squad there that he made out of the money that he spent. He's probably spent $1 billion himself, Pep. Do you know what I'm saying? But he didn't have holes.
I think
team just
if you look at it in isolation,
it says something about their management. If he can spend $1 billion and he's sussed it, do you know what I'm saying?
But okay, every team that finished above Arteta spent more money than Arteta spent to get their squad to the point that it's at. And remember, you have to remember where that Arsenal team, what it was before. You had to spend $1 billion minimum to get it to be able to even compete. I don't see any other manager that comes in and takes that Arsenal team from where it was to what it is now and wins the league without spending that amount of money.
So do you want me to tell you who would have?
Who?
Arsene Wenger.
Fuck that guy, man.
You give him £1 billion and see what he does with it.
No, because let's be honest. Arsene Wenger showed, right, that
Come on,
he can only take us so far. And Arsene Wenger is a philosopher of pure football. There's a reason he is the head of FIFA, and like he's a philosopher. He's not a practical football guy anymore, just in terms of how he sees football. It's not how football is today. It's not how Arteta's not going anywhere. The only way Arteta leaves is if he walks away. That board are never sacking Arteta. I don't understand why they would sack Arteta. If I'm them, I'm not sacking Arteta. Why would you? Because they've shown that they don't actually care about us winning trophies. The pressure comes from the fans. Because if they cared about winning trophies, they would have sanctioned a lot more buying power when we needed it. And they wouldn't have told him players have to leave. Like now, we would have signed Eze without letting players go. But
there's no way that you sit here and you can't agree that if Wenger was in this club, right, who's been your best manager in your history, that if he was given the money that Arteta has been given, £1 billion to spend, that he wouldn't be up there winning Premier Leagues.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you
maybe even Champions Leagues.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care about, and this could be a controversial take, I don't know. I don't care about the FA Cup. I want the Premier League.
Yeah, you don't think Wenger could have been winning the Premier League, bearing in mind he went toe-to-toe with probably the best team that we've seen in Premier League history in Manchester United. Well, you could argue Man City, do you know what I mean? But
football has changed, bro. Football has changed from when Wenger was a manager. It's complete. This is the same Wenger.
So you reckon he'd have been a dinosaur?
Yeah, and it's the same as Jose Mourinho. There's a reason Jose Mourinho is managing Fenerbahce. Because he hasn't adapted and football has changed so much. Jose Mourinho spent a lot of money when he was at Manchester United. He still couldn't take them to the title. It's not about what you've done in the past. It's about what you do in the future. And football has changed completely. And this is what I think a lot of people get hung up on. And they say, if you gave Wenger $1 billion. Yeah, maybe if you gave Wenger $1 billion back when he was managing, because $1 billion goes a lot further than it does today. We just saw this Otara guy go for almost 50 million. The players that we've signed, Arsenal and Arteta haven't really spent much money on attackers. Because if you're going to spend money on attackers, you got to spend a lot of money on good attackers. Look at how much Manchester City have spent on their attackers. Look how much money you guys have spent on attackers. Like not this crop of attackers, but the last crop before this one. So I genuinely think people are losing patience because we're getting gaslit that winning an FA Cup means way more than what it actually does. Winning an FA Cup just buys you time. That's all it does. It doesn't actually mean anything because Ten Hag won the FA Cup, but Manchester United are still here telling us that, we're in our rebuild period. We shouldn't be challenging for the league. So if Man United are capable of winning the FA Cup, does it then mean that they should win the league? People will tell me no. So why does it matter if Arteta wins the FA Cup if it's not going to mean anything in regards to winning the league?
Whether you can win the league or not.
And I think, look, this is why I say, if we're going to have a very fair and non-biased conversation, let's call a spade a spade. If you're going to use Wenger as an example, then during those days, winning the FA Cup meant fuck all. It didn't mean anything. If I came to you and I said, but we won FA Cup under Wenger, we won it 3 times on the bounce. Sorry, 2 times on the bounce and then a gap, but no one cared. Arsenal was still seen as a
Don't you think that you need to do a little bit better in these competitions?
No, because
give you the, to give you a little taste of what it's like to win.
No, because
Jose Mourinho was always a firm believer in you go for the League Cup, you win that, you give them a taste of what's to come. Okay. And that will breed the mentality for you to go out and win. I think he come out and made a statement recently. He said Chelsea, they've gone out, they've won the Conference League. Yes, it was a tournament they should be winning, but then they've now gone out and they've had the mentality to go and win the Club World Cup because they've got that taste for winning trophies now. Now they want it. They've got that hunger.
He has an affinity for Chelsea. He wants to see Chelsea doing well. So then if that's the case, you guys and Manchester United this season and Tottenham should all be challenging for the league. But you'll tell me, no, it's not. It's not realistic. It doesn't mean anything to win the FA Cup. That has no bearing on...
Yeah, but
it means nothing. Arsenal have won the FA Cup more times than anyone. It means nothing. It just buys you time as fans to not...
So you don't want to win any of these domestics?
I don't care about them. I just care about us winning the league or the Champions League. That's it. And we're very, very close. And I feel like, I'll be honest, when Ten Hag won that FA Cup, I wanted him to stay. I knew he was a shocking manager, and I knew he's never going to take Man United anywhere near the title, so I wanted him to stay. If people really, really believe that Arteta didn't have what it takes to take Arsenal to the Premier League or Champions League, they will be saying that he should stay, and they should be happy that Arsenal keep him.
Fair enough. Let's do Chelsea transfers now because we're nearly 2 hours into the stream. We want to do probably another half an hour or so, I reckon. Max. Do you know what I mean? Unless you've got somewhere to go. I'll go through the list of players that we signed. I think our window so far has been, the players that we've been linked to, obviously, this goes back to the Club World Cup. So we were signing players from early doors. None of the signings, I'll be honest with you, other than Esteval, who's got this massive expectation behind him, excited me. Even the João Pedro one, I was saying beforehand, we've just got Champions League. Why are we signing João Pedro? We should be going for players like Victor Osimhen, the ones that are already established. I was looking at Jamie Gittins. I'm going, meh, why don't we go for Rodrigo? Jarell Hato, another one that I'm just thinking. To be fair, the Jarell Hato links come out a long time ago, and I was like, But when we did actually sign him, I was actually excited about this one because of the hype that's come with him. He's been touted to be very good by Van Dijk, etc. So I was excited for that one. The Lap, I was happy for that one, even though I didn't want him. I thought we needed to still do more. Esugu was random. I just thought, don't know this player. I don't know what to expect. The Sarr signing, the centre-back, again, didn't know what to expect. So overall, if you was to ask me before I saw the Club World Cup and before I saw our pre-season, I'd be sitting there going, no, we ain't done enough. I don't really think we've signed players to really do anything. I've since seen the Club World Cup. I've seen how João Pedro has come in and immediately integrated to that team and what he adds compared to Nicholas Jackson. And I think, wow, what signing straight away. And everyone was telling me around me saying, no, he's a good player. But I was thinking, no, we need more. But clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about, and this club do, because João Pedro has come in and scored 5 and 5. And I'm starting to think, you know what, this could be a quality signing. Gittins has come in and he's impressed straight away. Yeah, it feels like he might be another frustrating player in terms of his finishing, etc. But this guy can take a player on it. Like when I watched him in pre-season, every action that he done was positive. Everything led to a corner or a chance. There was only a few instances where he'd done a shot and it was like you could have done better there. But I'll take that. He's definitely, like, so far from what I've seen.
Do you know what's funny? You guys you shipped Madueke and brought in Gittins. They're the same player.
That's what I thought. Same player. Both need to improve. Both haven't reached their full potential. And that's what I felt like we were doing. We were just swapping it around. But I do feel like he's
Well, we know why you did that though, because it's a PSR thing. Like it's just
maybe, but at the same time, I do feel like Gittins is giving us a little bit more in terms of that final third decision making. He's making the right decisions. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think you say that. I think you say that because it's obviously it's the hope. Like there's more room for hope, right? Because
no, I like Madueke. I've been a fan of Madueke all the way through his Chelsea career. Everyone disrespecting him, saying he's shit and all this. I've never said he was shit. I've just said he's a frustrating player because I actually think you've got a good player there, Madueke. Because when he comes good, he's gonna bang. Once he sorts his technique out and he can, his final third is his problem. Once he knows what he's doing in that box, he's going to score so many goals. And at the moment, I feel like Gittins is a little bit further ahead in where they need to be. Doesn't mean that Madueke can't catch up and excel him. He might do, but I can understand why they've done it. Because from what I've seen from pre-season, I feel like he is slightly ahead of Madueke.
I'll be honest with you. Madueke will do more in Arsenal than what Gittins will do for you guys.
Maybe.
The only reason I say that is cool because we're more of a complete team.
Mm.
So you're adding someone who the numbers are in his favor. So if it works, you're going to get more out of him in that environment, right? Just because we're ahead in our like how settled the team is. Whereas with Gittins, obviously, I don't think it's like this season will be where you see the true potential of him. I still feel like it's going to take like at least one more season. But again, from a profiling perspective, it's a good signing. It's just whether you guys have the patience to. But this is why I want the pundits to put more pressure on you because he's going to have the chance to hit the ground running. Chelsea will fall off around January, Feb. Yeah, I do feel like you'll have a shaky period just because of the fact that
we normally do. It's normally Christmas. We normally fuck up around Christmas. December is always like I get so excited for the Christmas fixture list, but I'm always left disappointed. Always.
It's going to be worse this season just because you guys didn't get much of a break. It's a World Cup season, and there's going to be lots of games for you to play. I think that is going to hurt you, whereas for us, it's a bit different because we had a chance to reset. We brought in players. So I think
the only thing is our squad is stacked, seriously stacked.
But it's stacked with
seriously stacked.
But it's unknowns though. That's
maybe.
The problem.
But you see a couple. We saw a glimpse in pre-season. We saw a glimpse in the Club World Cup. Estefao looks like he's gonna hit the ground running.
But remember, he's also very young, man. He's still
but we've still got Neto. Do you know what I mean? We've still got Neto on that side. We've still got Cole Palmer that can play on the right if we need to. We've got Estefao. We've got, do you know what I mean? We've got options that we can bring in and out. We're looking to add Xavi Simons to this attack. We're looking to add Garnacho now. Obviously, and not a lot of Chelsea fans are happy about that. But me, if we're getting him on the cheap, I'm not fussed with that signing. There's still a player in there. Do you know what I mean? Even though he had a stinker last season and he comes with some problems off the pitch, he's coming from a very toxic environment. If we can unlock the Garnacho that first joined that club, then we're going to be laughing because if it don't work, we'll still sell him for like 50 million. So it's like a win-win situation for us no matter what.
But take that aside though, if we're just talking about from a like what you'll get this season, it's still a lot of unknown.
I still think there's work to do because I don't think with him, like the goalie situation, although he had like the best game you've ever seen in the Club World Cup and he's been good since then, we've seen him for a whole season and we know that he's capable of mistakes that can cost us. And when the margins are so tight at the top of the league, you can't have them mistakes in your team.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Ramsdale situation with what we
exactly. You can't have him losing you 5 points in the season, even if he saves you 9 points. It doesn't matter. That's what they come out and said. Oh, he saved us like 9 points last season. So
there's a lot of pressure.
5. That 5 could have cost us the league.
Yeah, and this is what I think people. This is why when I say players like Estevao, your keeper, Gittins, all these young players, what you have to add into that like whole situation is the pressure that comes when the Premier League season starts and there's a run of games and things stop going your way,
how do they deal with the shit? So, and that's exactly what happened over in December last season. When shit hit the fan, the players couldn't get out of that rut. They could not bring themselves to put in. They were all over the place.
Yeah, and this
all
is
over the place.
I think these are all of the factors, right, that affect your form over the course of a season. And again, to come back to Arsenal, that's why we fell off, because it all goes back to that game against Manchester United for Havertz when everything went downhill for him. When he missed that penalty and he missed those chances, after that, Arsenal fans had zero patience for him, and you could see it in his performances. And I think now with football, content creators and just social media, you can actually see how it affects players. You can see it in like when there's a bad run of form and all of those clips start circulating. It does affect, and that's the only worry I have for you guys. How will these young players deal with the expectation now?
They watch it. They watch YouTube. They look. They're online. They see all this shit.
Eze said it. I don't know if you saw that clip of him. He was talking about when he was at QPR. There was he used to always like Google himself and look at comments, and he said like there was a guy that always used to rip into me, and it did affect me because it made me start questioning, fuck, am I actually doing something wrong? And I think now in this social media era, that's what I think is going to hurt you guys, because you have a lot more unknowns than what Arsenal has, than what Liverpool has. You've got like 7 unknowns, and the pressure of making it work because a lot of players have come in. But we might
as well just do it. Where do we think we're going to finish next season? I mean, let's include our fixture list, all right? We might as well do this now because we've got a very good 5 fixtures. We've got, let me get it up quickly. We've got, and I want to talk about our depth as well while we're doing this. So, Palace, West Ham, Palace at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Brentford away, Man United away. Now that, for me, that's a very favourable first 5 games for Chelsea. Palace at home is going to be tough. Palace are in good form at the moment. West Ham away, I think we'll beat them. Fulham at home, they've won 1 game at our ground in 20 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that was last season as well. So I'll be surprised. Brentford away, they've lost their whole squad, their manager. Man United away, we still don't know what we're going to get from Man United in the league. They've been quite good in pre-season. So I think that's quite a favourable first 5 games. I think we're in very good form at the moment with, I don't know if you've seen our pre-season games where we slapped up AC Milan 4-1. Beat by Leverkusen before that, absolutely dominated them. Club World Cup, you saw what we've done to PSG. We've hit a very good run of form. And I think confidence in that team at the moment is where it needs to be. I think Enzo Maresca is getting things right in terms of how he's setting the team up. And I've been very critical of him because I felt like he weren't doing enough. And I feel like he's got it exactly where it needs to be. The thing is, we're impatient. Chelsea fans are impatient. I'm impatient. I agree with that. But
would you not have liked to see him sign a few more experienced players, like age-wise and like Premier League experience, like age and
do you know what? Last season I was screaming for more experienced players, but the more that the plan is working, the more I can see what they're trying to do. They're not trying to build for the next 2 seasons. So whether it sacrifices, now and next season, for example, if we start competing the following season, they want to dominate for 10 years. They want to have a City moment where they've completely dominated for a long period of time. And you can see that by the signings that we're making. And if he gets the system right and he's got these young players working in this system,
so answer me this.
We won't need to sign players. We won't need to sell players.
Answer me this. If Chelsea did what Arsenal have done for the last 5 years and you ran it close in the Premier League but didn't win any titles, would you say that Maresca should be sacked?
Yeah, because I'd say he's not the player. He's not the manager to get us over the line. he'd be the final piece of the puzzle. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've got the players there that can take you to that far.
But do you not think that to dominate, it takes a lot longer now in the Premier League?
Do you know what? It's a little bit different with us because Maresca don't have any say on the signings. He does to an like this. They've said that this year he does, but I don't think he does. I think it's all Joe Shields and that in the background who are making all these signings.
Oh yeah,
finally,
100%. Because you can just see who he's signing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of sporadic. Like he's called out for a centre back. He wants a centre back now. Cole's out, and we're looking at Garnacho, which I think is a little bit. Come on,
I won't lie. Personally, I don't understand why. I think you guys should stay away from Garnacho. Just from everything I've seen, Klopp came out of nowhere and won. Well, Liverpool as a team were far more complete. So you can't use Slot as an example. If you for 1 second don't think that Arteta would come into Liverpool and wouldn't win the league with Liverpool, I'd have to say that you're quite crazy.
You rate him like that, Arteta?
It's not even just me that rates him. If Arsenal sacked Arteta tomorrow, every fucking team would be in to try and hire him. They weren't a better team than Arsenal. So Liverpool were not a better team than Arsenal. They were a better team than us, and they got lucky with the injuries. It's not like, look, if we didn't have any injuries, like to key players, and we did what we did, then I would say yeah. But you can see why we didn't win the league. The only other team that finished above us was the team that didn't have injuries to their key players. I don't understand how people can't see that. And you said it very early in the stream. Arsenal's points tally shows we have the most points. So he's winning games. It's just that something's missing. Yeah, our key players. Beginning of last season, did you have Liverpool above you? Yes. Remember we had this argument, and I had said to you that I don't think we would win the league. Remember, and you were saying that.
Yeah, you never thought that Arsenal were going to win the league.
The only time I came out and said I think Arsenal will win the league was after that Bournemouth game in the first season. That's the only time. Because I
have got saved messages of you saying you're going to win the league, but I think it was done in tongue in cheek when you got excited after.
That was after that Bournemouth game when Reece Nelson scored. Other than then, I could tell you we just didn't have the depth, and we hadn't made. And that's why I'm saying if we sign Eze, I think that will be enough. And you have it here. I think that will be enough to finally.
So you think you're one signing away from winning the league, Eze?
Yeah, if we can get Eze in.
He's going to Tottenham, my bad. Now, I was told that this deal was done months ago for Arsenal, by the way.
You know what it is? It's not that he's going Tottenham. The only way he goes Tottenham is if Arsenal don't move for him, which makes sense. But the thing that's stopping it from our side is...
Someone made a good point, though. Like, I think it was one of the Arsenal channels, yeah? If he goes to Tottenham, he'll become a star player. He'll play week in, week out.
Yeah, but...
He'll probably get paid more because they're going to have to take him away from you.
But he's not going to... But again, he can go and be a star player there, but it's not really going to do anything for his career. His actual career. It's not. He will just be another player outside of the big clubs. That's all it's going to be. And I don't dispute that. He could go... Like, going to Tottenham makes sense for him. But if Arsenal offer him the chance to join them and he'll always choose Arsenal because it makes more sense. He can actually...
Wonder what I've got to say. He's a Spurs fan.
Arsenal fans are always... But we are, though. It's the truth. And I said this. Our board is too logical. They're not risk takers. We do everything. Eze will make us finish above them, mugs, champions. Who's this? Who does this person support?
Spurs is a Spurs fan.
Oh, please. You won the Europa League, yeah, but no one cares about you.
Yeah.
Challenge for the league, then.
Mate, they had a fucking Spursy moment the other day. That was just fucking. That was
exactly.
true.
No. Precisely my point. When they play a big team, what happens?
When that goal went in, I knew it, and I was like, this is going the other way. And it did.
Yeah. So no one cares about Spurs. Okay, Spurs won the Europa League, but why is no one talking about them challenging for the Premier League?
course not, because they're not really. It's different. Competitions are different. Though it's 38 games across a season.
No, not that.
You look, even the Champions League's like what? Not even 15 games, 10 games.
That they'll finish above us if Eze comes to them. Come on, please. If you really believe that Eze is gonna mean that Spurs will finish above Arsenal, losing to PSG isn't a bad thing. Did you? You gave them a closer. Well, you lost. So how? I don't understand how.
We both lost, didn't you?
Yeah, this is. Come on, man.
I'll tell you one team that didn't lose, and it's the one with that Club World Cup Championship badge in the top right corner, right there.
So that must mean you guys are title challengers. I don't want to hear anything.
Nah, it's 38 game season. It's different. Competitions and 38 game seasons.
So this is
what that can happen over 38 games. You're talking like 3 tournaments in 1 year.
So why can you guys make excuses if winning the title really winning?
I don't think
if winning
the players have played enough with each other just yet to
come on
to be there. You see, like your club, yeah, the players in that team have played with each other for what, 3 or 4 seasons now, max, minimum, you'd say, yeah. Same manager for 7 years.
But this
we've had this manager for 1 season.
But we've
had these players. The players are starting to stick around. We're starting to see a core in Chelsea's team. This is one thing I'll say from last season and the seasons before. We're starting to see a core develop at Chelsea with your Cucurellas, your Colwills, your Caicedos, your Palmers. We're still trying to work out who our main number 9 is going to be. We're still trying to work out who. We've got Reece James at right back as well, who's finally had a good season where he's been quite fit.
We know who your 9 is.
Surgery.
Pedro. Joao Pedro is your 9. Delap is the challenger.
That's what I think as well. I agree with that.
It can only be
that. We're going to see. I think next season we're going to see a little fight going on for the right wing space, whether it's going to be Neto or Esteval. I know he's young, and everybody's going to write him off. But if you see him in the pre-season, this kid's just
no. Remember when you guys first bought him, I said that is the one player that I can comfortably say I'm jealous that Chelsea signed. He's the only player.
He looks like he's going to come in and add some spice to this team. And you know them wonder moments where you just go, oh, this kid, like what Palmer done in his first season. I feel like I don't want to big it up too much because he's young and his first season in the Prem is going to be tough because he's going to realise it's a very physical league. But the Brazilian league's very physical. So
no, but you know what it is? I think the difference with the Brazilian league and the difference with the Premier League is that the Premier League, the demands of the Premier League versus the Brazilian league are slightly different in that the way it's played is very different. Like, don't get me wrong, Brazil is physical and all of these things, but just the way the Premier League is set up means that it really does test you because of just how Premier League football is.
You know, like the Brazilian league, they play like you know, like when we played Flamengo, for example, they played 76 games that year. You know, more than Chelsea. They play a lot of games in that Brazilian league.
But the standard is very different in terms of how close the Premier League runs. The investment in players.
I think the massive difference between the Premier League and a lot of other leagues is that the lower teams, the standard is quite high.
Exactly. And it's funny because if you actually just look at Bournemouth, all of their at least 6 of their players have been picked up by like top tier teams. Brighton, consistently year on year, their players have gone to top teams. And I think this is the big difference with the Premier League. As we always have this bias to say, oh yeah, but the top 4, but we always steal players from those lower tier teams. So they're obviously good enough, and it like their talent doesn't just switch on when they go and join a big club. The talent's always there. So I think it shows, right, how competitive the Premier League is. So I would say, I would definitely say Estavio, one to watch, and I'm expecting big things from him. Pedro, Joao Pedro will give you guys something. It will be the first time that you're going into a season.
Something different.
Yeah. Somebody that's got, like, he'll be given grace because he scored goals in the Premier League. even if he doesn't score for like the first 5 games, we'll be
I'm
giving.
looking. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to seeing our new signings. Like I said before, like at first I was a bit like, nah, we could be doing better. But since I've seen them play, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing them. João Pedro, Delap, even Delap coming off the bench, getting a brace, like Gittins, like I'm really Esteval, even Hato, all of them, and Andre Santos now is back in the squad. All of these players I think we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna have an amazing season, but like at least I'm going into this season really excited, and I think I speak for many Chelsea fans saying the same thing. I think we're excited going into the season because I feel like we're going to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? We're going to enjoy this season, whether or not we achieve the league or any cups. I feel like we're going to have an enjoyable season because we're going to watch some good football on show, and I think that's just one step closer to being where we want to be. In terms of where I think we're going to finish, I'll be honest with you, I think we're going to be top 4. And I think it's going to be comfortable top 4 rather than struggling on the last game of the season.
I always say, the Premier League predictions, we shouldn't make them at the beginning of the season. We should always just like
around January. January, you'll know around January where you're going to be. But I mean, like last season, we were competing for the league up until December. Do you know what I mean? We were flying. So, and you can see how quickly that can change in a run of 10 games. So,
and I think as well now there's so many more variables because of VAR. There's so much shit that
refs are shit.
Yeah, prior to VAR, so many things went under the radar that swing games for the like one way or the other, and it again just changes everything. VAR swings the league big time.
I think if Chelsea are going to seriously challenge, I think we need to see. Everyone was talking about obviously Colwell's got injured, their left centre back role.
I think that's a good thing, man. I'll be honest. He's a big weak link in your defense.
You reckon? No, he's been playing very well since the Club World Cup, and towards the end of the season, he started really picking up his performances. To be fair, he was the one that got us in top 4. He scored the goal.
I think he's when we're talking about challenging over the course of a season, I think there's just something about Colwell. I think he's too hot-headed.
Yeah, he's got that in him. But you got to remember, again, he's another young player. He's another young player that's getting minutes. He's learning. He's played. I think he's played 79 games for Chelsea. I don't think that's a lot. That's not a lot of games. Not many of our squad at the moment have hit 100 appearances for Chelsea.
Yep.
Which is like, it tells you where you know what we're saying about where Arsenal are in their team and where Chelsea are with our team. You've played a lot more together than we have. But I feel like we're a goalkeeper away. I actually think we're a right centre-back away. And I don't know where we stand in terms of striker yet. I really don't know. Obviously, I'm excited to see João Pedro and Delap because of what I've seen pre-season, but I haven't seen that over the course of the year to really comment on it.
I'll be real. I was even fucking angry that we didn't try and bring in Delap. I feel like as having like another number 9, just a striker for 30 million, that's a punt that you take and you develop him. That would have been nice to have that kind of depth.
100%. Even like 30 million, and you can bring him off the bench, and he's going to hold his value. He's young. This is what I'm saying. Everyone's going to start repeating this Chelsea model that they're doing. They'll start repeating it. You see Liverpool are starting to do it.
Yeah, because you have to play that game to get.
You'll see it. You'll see Man United start to do it because they're in a messy situation. Until they can get all their players off them big contracts, they're gonna. Once they start getting them off, they'll start doing the same thing. Long contracts, incentive based, young players.
When you do a Man United stream, I'm jumping on because I have.
I'm going to sort that out for next week, by the way, because now the season started, obviously this weekend. I want to try and get them out quickly. Let's try and wrap this up then. So I'm saying we're going to finish top 4 comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm expecting from Chelsea is to do better than 71 points. The reason I say that is because the owners took the club over in the season that we got 71 points. So I'm expecting them. You've seen progression throughout the years that the owners have taken over. Obviously, from the first season, it was a massive dip, but they've gradually got it back up to where we need to be. So now I'm expecting us to exceed what the owners done, how the owners bought the club, which was 71 points, and we need to do better than that. So I want to see us.
Yeah, I think it's the first.
I want to see that progression. Do you know what I mean? Now I want to see that, okay, you've got it to this point. You've won trophies now, which is good. That's always a good indicator because we've always won trophies for the last 20 years, 25 years. Now you need to do better than what you bought the club at and show us that what you're doing is working.
I'm glad you said that because obviously going off of what you and everyone says about winning trophies, now if trophies really matter and actually show something, you guys should challenge for the league. And I believe that you won't because trophies don't actually have a reflection on that. But let's see.
I think we'll go on some good cup runs.
The only way you guys could, any team, any Man United.
You know what? It's hard to say that we'll win a trophy. I'd like to say I'd like to say top 4 in a trophy. I think that's got to be the minimum expectation at Chelsea. Top 4 in a trophy.
Yeah, I mean, look, you guys, Man United, you've all won trophies. Spurs. So now finish above Arsenal, win the league. Prove to Arsenal fans that winning trophies actually means progress. Because in my opinion, winning trophies doesn't actually mean trophy.
It depends how you weigh it up because you could put all your eggs in one basket, which I feel like you have done. You've put all your eggs in the basket in the Premier League.
I want us to keep doing that.
And sacrifice your domestics.
I want us to keep doing that. I don't respect the FA Cup. I don't respect the League Cup. You can have this on record. I don't, because we've won the FA Cup so many times and it doesn't really mean anything. We want to win the league. We want to win the Champions League, and I would rather us just focus on that. Just because we don't have the way our club is run, we don't have the ability to really juggle
challenging all fronts.
Yeah, we just can't. I'm just realistic, man. I'm realistic. If I said, look, I could sit here and say, look, I'd be happy with Arsenal just winning a trophy. I'm not happy with Arsenal just winning a trophy. I want the league, and I will sacrifice the FA Cup and the League Cup for that. Bring me the league or Champions League.
I think that's what makes Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans different because we want it all.
But you're still frustrated.
Yeah, we want.
So
I don't know. I kind of feel like towards the end of last season, I think a lot of Chelsea fans kind of bought in, me included, bought into what's actually going on because I was very skeptical about the owners. Where we're going, what they're trying to do, this model that we're doing, but then when we finished the league, they've hit my targets. They got champion, although it was the last game of the season. They got top 4. They won the Conference League like I expected them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then they win the Club World Cup, which I didn't expect them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they've exceeded what I think was going to happen, and to beat PSG in the final, who just won the Champions League, and everybody's saying it's the best club in the world. In the manner that we done it, it's just, like I can't really complain about the club. And you start to think, okay, like what we're actually doing is working. Like that João Pedro signing during the Club World Cup was probably the most important signing in the tournament.
Yeah. So wait, if you guys don't win anything but you finish second, would you say that's progression?
It's a good question. It's a good question because it will put you in the same scenario as you.
Yeah,
I'd say it is progression because I feel like although you've not been winning anything, you've definitely progressed because you've put yourself in a position now where you're quite a dominant team in England. You're quite like coming up against Arsenal now. You think might not get a result here. Do you know what I mean? That's a complete different mentality shift from a couple of years back where you thought, we'll go to Arsenal, we'll roll them over and we'll get 3 points. So it's like,
and this is why,
in the same token, you're actually competing for the league. So exactly. If we competed for the league, didn't win a trophy,
you progressed. You have I don't understand how people can't see that, because in the same breath,
but the problem is, how long do you need to do that for? You're now in your 4th year of doing this. So if I'd done it, if we did that next season, competed for the league, didn't win anything, I'd probably go, okay, that was progress. If we do it again next season, the only way that I'd see progress is if we beat our tally and there was a better team than us, and we don't win anything. But if we get to the 3rd season and we finish 2nd again, I'm fuming. I'm going to be like, what are we doing? Why are we not winning leagues? Why are we not winning trophies? What needs to happen for that to happen? The difference is you're saying right off the FA Cup, right off the League Cup, I don't want them. I just want the Premier League. I just want the Champions League. Me, I'd be saying, no, fucking win them and go and compete for that.
But remember, right, as an English club, you're always at a slight disadvantage to teams in France, like the top team in France, the top team in Spain, because of how their leagues are set up. They get the break. So it's just not really that real. Like, it's very hard to win the Premier League. It's very, very hard. And again, when I use Arsenal as an example, the only team that finished above us last season was Liverpool. They didn't have injuries. They didn't run deep in the Champions League. The season before that, obviously, Manchester City have maybe one of the best teams.
They did have injuries, though. They lost Alisson. They lost Konate. Robertson was injured, I swear.
Yeah, but those injuries, they had players they actually had good players to come into those.
Wasn't Diaz injured for a spell?
Very short spell. And they had, they played, like, Gakpo is a winger. He's not a striker. And remember, if Liverpool ran to the semi-final or final of the Champions League, then I would say, okay, cool, Arsenal have. But remember, Liverpool only had the league and the FA Cup to run in, and they only won the league. They didn't win both.
Yeah, but you only had the Champions League.
And the league.
No, you weren't in the league. I'll be honest with you, after December, you was not in the league. You knew that as well. Come on.
But remember, because we had the injuries.
Yeah, so you had to focus on was the Champions League.
We still could have pulled it back, though. Because remember, there was a period where Liverpool were... Because you also have to remember, when you're not putting pressure on the team in front of you, that does play a part as well. So there's less intense, like just psychological intensity. Because we had the injuries and then we fell off. And then Liverpool built that gap. But there was that 1 month...
I don't think you had the manager...
Remember, Liverpool had...
or the midfield to deal with PSG.
Liverpool had 3 games in hand. Remember, there was that weird period where if we had beat them, and then we ended up drawing to them, if we had beat them, and we won our subsequent, and they drew one of their games, it would have been a 1 point difference. And that was the pivotal moment of when, the Premier League died. But then Saka got injured. And then it was like, Arsenal are falling out of the title race. So I just say, look, if you guys say that trophies matter, you guys, Newcastle, Tottenham...
Trophies do matter. I'll tell you why. Because let's say 5 years' time, Chelsea win everything and they overtake how many trophies we've both won. And we're sitting there going, well, we're the bigger club.
Yeah, no, if that happens, I'll hold my hands up.
Trophies.
If that happens, I'll hold my hands up. But
I'll be honest with you, I think we're the bigger club anyway because of what we've won. But when there is that argument, they go, how many trophies you've won? Do you know what I mean? If we go 5 years now and win more trophies that take us beyond that,
they'll always
be sitting there going, I wish I never said that. I wish we had taken the FA Cup seriously. I wish we had the League Cup.
But there'll always be a recency.
I don't count the Community Shield. I think that's a waste of space.
There'll always be a recency bias, though, right? Because we weren't living during the era when Arsenal were dominating, and like if we're talking about overall, right? There's a recency bias because we've only seen a certain period of time, and that's why I say it's funny. All of these arguments over who's a bigger club. Yes, you could say. In recent times, I would agree Chelsea are the bigger club. That I can't argue with. But if we're talking about overall, then it's a different argument, right?
If you go through history, if you want to go back to black and white TV days, then yeah.
Yeah, but right now, Chelsea.
I'll be honest with you, that argument never runs well with me because you have to see it for yourself. You have to enjoy your team winning these trophies.
I agree. No, I agree. Luckily for me, I saw when Arsenal were dominating. I did see that.
I don't think there's been a period in your history where you've actually dominated English football.
I started watching Arsenal when I was 6.
Like when you look at when you was winning the league, you was just disrupting what Manchester United were doing. When you look at it before, you was disrupting what Liverpool were doing. This goes way back.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I have also seen the successful Arsenal.
You have had some success. Yeah,
that's kind of why there's like a little bit of a recency bias from my standpoint. But I agree. You guys are the bigger club in recent history. That I can't argue. And it doesn't hurt me to say that because it's just reality.
Really, yeah. Right, let's wrap it up then. Anyway, so you think you're one signing away from winning the league, Eze?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you don't get Eze, where do you finish?
Then I think we could probably scrape second again. Like we could probably
second again, yeah. So you think you're better than Man City, and you think you're better than Liverpool, yeah? Got a better squad. Are we underestimating Man City?
No, it's not that. I just feel like going into City games now, I feel like we can beat them home and away. Going into City games.
So that answers Casey's question earlier. Tell you what, I'm going to do one with Casey and Mayhem next week. I'll get you on that as well.
Yeah, I'll jump on.
And I think we're going to finish top 4 comfortably. I just don't know where we're going to finish in that top 4. I'll be real with you because I feel like.
Do you see yourself finishing above us?
I want to say yes, but my heart's telling me no. I just think you're ahead of where you need to be. Do you know what I'm saying? I think your team is just you've trained with each other for long enough. You've played with each other long enough. You've got a manager that's been there for long enough.
Yeah, if you guys finish above us, then definitely that's a regression for us. Even if we finish
second. And I think Liverpool have just done a madness in the transfer window, and they're still looking to sign Isaac. I think that's going to be a deadline day signing. That's going to be insane. But Ekitike, I'm not going to lie, that he looked fucking unreal today. I don't even know if they need Isaac.
They definitely
I thought he looked well up for it.
Liverpool,
Man City, I think, are dark horses. I think everybody's just writing them off because of last season, but they done their business really early in January. They've had their pre-season for the half of the year.
You know what it is though? With Manchester City, what we're now going to see with City is there isn't a precedent set. They don't have KDB. They don't have like a Carl Walker in it. Like they don't have the big scary players.
World-class players, like proper world-class players.
Yeah. So they have to. This is going to sound crazy, but they have to prove themselves again.
No, I get you.
That's why I'm not too like Liverpool. I'm scared of City. I'm not.
I hear that. I'm going to ask you one more question before we wrap it up, and this is going to be the one that I don't know. It might go on for a while because we've had this debate before. But let's try and wrap this up quickly. If you don't win anything this year, what happens to Arteta?
If we don't win anything this year, and it's a close fought challenge,
circumstances, yeah,
like he'll be okay. If it's not, then I think he will walk away.
You reckon he'll walk? He won't get the sack.
He will never.
You reckon he'll say, "All right, I can't. It's me. I can't do it."
Yeah,
I'll go.
He would. They are never sacking him, unless he calls the board out and it gets. He ain't getting sacked, man. Because why would they sack him?
If I think Chelsea fell to get top 4. Again, I think it's circumstances because
you guys are ruthless. I think you will treat your manager how you see your players.
Yeah. We've been like that. That's just Chelsea.
And you care more about like the board cares.
The problem is I kind of feel like it is more of a project now. Do you know what I mean? Like this is what I'm saying with what we have, who we have signed. And what he's done over the last season, it does feel like we've got a project. Under Potter, it didn't feel like that. Under Pochettino, it didn't feel like that. Do you know what I mean? We didn't feel like we were moving in the right direction. Under Maresca, it does actually feel like we're getting a style of play. We're getting the players in that suit his system. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It feels like we are creating something rather than just having a fucking manager there that's doing anything.
You know what's so funny? I know what's going to happen. You are going to find yourself in the same position. You're going to basically see things from the perspective that I'm talking about.
Arteta, yeah, this is what I'm worried about. That it could go that way,
and you're going to feel
it. We all sit here going, "Oh, the project looks good," but then we don't win nothing.
Yeah, you'll understand. I think it will hit home of actually how hard it is to take a team that's like struggled and rebuild a whole project. I think you'll realize how big of a task it actually is in the Premier League.
Well, the reason why I do this is because, I mean, a lot of people called me negative last season, but I don't judge the manager. I don't try and predict what he's going to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sitting here saying he's a shit manager. I'm not sitting here saying he's great. I judge him like I judge the players' performances game in, game out. So if I think he's been shit one week, I'll say I think the manager's been shit. And if it carries on over a period of time, it's no different to when you go to a player, right, I've had enough of this player, he's got to go. That's how I look at it. And the start of the season, I thought he was brilliant. From December onwards, I thought he was making loads of mistakes, and I was thinking, do you know what? I was sitting there saying, I don't see him changing it. I don't see how he's getting out of this. He proved me wrong. Towards the end of the season, we went on a crazy run, and I think that's got to do with the fact that he started to do things right. He had a player coming back in Lavia that helped his system. And I think players bought into what he was doing again. And I think the confidence helped, etc., with these young players. But then going into pre-season, I just think he's playing some serious football. He's playing some lovely football, man.
Yeah.
What we did to PSG, that was, for me, I think I looked at Enzo differently there. I thought, fucking hell, this guy, he can...
I'll be honest.
Change it up, he can change it up.
It's funny because outside of look, Enzo and Arteta are very similar, in terms of their philosophy. They have set philosophies, and you'll buy into it. The only difference between Enzo and Maresca and Arteta is that because Arteta comes from English football, he understands the inner workings of the culture and is able to present himself in a better way than Maresca. But they're very similar managers in how they think. And that's why I say you are going to see it from my perspective, because he sees it in a similar way to Arteta in the philosophy of what he's trying to build. And he's juggling that with the off the field stuff with the board. And this is what, as fans, we don't really take into account, that these guys are just doing a job on the field, and they can't really impact the off the field stuff as much. They have to just work with it. So that's why I give Arteta grace. And I know you say I always harp on at it. Arteta and Maresca, Arteta more so, they're inexperienced managers still, right? So they're still also learning as they go along, and they're going to make mistakes. Ferguson, when he first came to Man United, was shit, and they wanted to sack him, and then he went on to dominate. And I this is how I feel with Arteta. He's doing that. Just the trophies haven't come yet, but we're very close, man. And I feel like if we stick with him, we will fucking dominate, and then the board will start spending more money.
Don't you think it's a little bit of a risk with players like Saliba, Saka? If they don't, let's say you don't win anything again next season, do you think you run the risk of losing players like Saka and Saliba?
Well, they just both signed new deals, so
Saliba signed a new deal. He ain't signed a new deal.
This one's about to get announced. It's done. They've done all of the media stuff, so he's going to announce it. So I'm not really too worried in that respect. It's all about the manner, right, in which you fall away. And I feel like the manner that we've fallen away has always been, on the face of it, very respectable. And you can't ignore the progress that's being made. And I think as long as the players buy into that, they won't leave. If those two guys leave, then they don't believe in the manager. And that will be when decision has to be made. But I don't think
you change the manager, you change the project.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when you'll know that there's something not right inside Arsenal.
All right, listen, I'm going to wrap it up now because we've been going on for nearly 3 hours, which has been quite good, to be fair. But Kofi, thanks for tuning in and joining me, because that's been a very good stream on Arsenal. We'll get you on more. We'll try and do the. I'm going to get the other lads on. Talk about United, talk about City. I'm trying to do Liverpool tomorrow with one of my pals, so I'll try and do that.
I want the United fans.
Yeah, I'll get you in with the United fans. I'll try and get Randy on or something. See if he'll jump on.
I want them.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try and do that one. But I'll try and do another one as well, maybe towards the end of the transfer window, to try and summarize how we think our market's gone once everything's been done. So we can have do a short video on it, do you know what I mean? And see where we really feel like we are. And if you want to jump on throughout the season, do match previews and stuff like that, then feel free. We'll get it going. But thanks for jumping on, man. I'm going to leave it there. And thanks for everyone that's tuning in. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We're going to leave it there.
Thanks for having me, man. Have a good one.
Nice one, bro. In a bit.
Bye-bye.